Oh no, it's gonna be tilted there. All right, it's live. I think
live.
we're good.
We're live.
Yep, we're live. We're live. It's going.
Yeah, that thing's always super low because it was like that for me too.
Yeah, it's just default low.
It's just for whatever reason it doesn't.
I don't know why it's just default.
Doesn't give you accurate levels.
It's not an accurate level. It just says yes. I got audio. You're good.
Thanks YouTube. Thank you for all the wonderful information.
Yes. All right, let's start this in 5, 4. And I am back.
Hey.
I am back. I have been gone for 2 weeks.
What do you know?
I have so many thoughts. Welcome to the Media Boat Podcast. If you don't know what the Media Boat Podcast is, or if this is your first time hearing my voice, we are the Media Boat Podcast. We talk about movies, TV, music, and video games, not necessarily in that order. My name is Mike. With me is Matt.
That's new. Hi, it's Matt. Welcome to the Media Boat Podcast. Today is June the 11th, 2022. This is episode 335, I believe.
Yes.
335. Thank you for joining us. Yes, we're back live and in person on YouTube. Mike has returned from the East Coast. He has not become a New Englander yet. Just wait. But yeah, we're happy to be back, and we have a big show for you. A lot of news and a lot of thoughts because Mike has to do catch up for the last couple weeks.
Yeah. So because I've been gone for 2 weeks, I've been consuming a shit ton of media. And that's not even a joke. Like I said, 21 thoughts.
21 thoughts
just coming from my mouth over the course of the next, I want to say 2 hours.
Yeah.
But
we'll see.
Depends
on whether. Start right now.
Because we're going to start right now because we got a lot to get to. So we're going to start this with the music section. I'm going to start the music section with the Billboard Hot 100. And as it was, it's your number one song by Harry Styles. As it was, still your number one song. At 2, First Class by Jack Harlow.
First Class.
Not by Jack. At 3, Wait For You by Future, but really it's featuring Drake.
So,
it's got the Drake bump. At 4, It's About Damn Time by Lizzo.
I need a cinnamon roll. I don't know about you.
And rounding out your top 5, Heat Waves by Glass Animals.
Back in the top 5.
Back in the top 5.
I guess with real heat waves coming through, people are...
It's a summer jam.
Looking for that song.
It's a summer hit. As for your albums chart, your Billboard 200, once again at number 1, Harry's House by Harry Styles.
Mm-hmm.
At number 2, Un Verano Sin Ti by Bad Bunny. Coming in at 3, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers by Kendrick Lamar. At 4, I Never Liked You by Future. And rounding out your top 5, Dangerous, the double album by Morgan Wallen.
Crawling back into the top 5 this week like some horrible shambling zombie.
I know, after 2 weeks gone and comes back. Who does that?
You brought this back with you.
Who does that? Who leaves for 2 weeks and then comes crawling back?
I blame you.
Blame me anyways.
Anyways,
if you didn't like any of those albums, we have new releases.
We do.
Including The Storm Before the Calm by Alanis Morissette. Yes. That Alanis Morissette.
According to Metacritic, this is an album meant to accompany meditation. This is not a traditional album. This is like a meditation exercise from Alanis to you.
So is this in conjunction with Calm, the app, the meditation headspace app?
I don't think it is, but that would be really funny. And if it is, then maybe that's understandable. But I don't think it is, but you could probably use it in tandem with that app and be very, very relaxed.
I think they're going to. All right. We also have Farm to Table by Bartees Strange.
I'll probably listen to this. I like Bartees, so I'll check it out.
Life is Yours by Foles.
Oh, it's mine. Wow.
In Amber by Hercules and Love Affair.
Mm-hmm.
2000 by Joey Bada. $sign.
I believe that's Joey Badass.
But it's $sign.
Joey Bad Cash.
Bad Cash. Vinyl Days by Logic.
I thought Logic retired.
Logic is never anyone's forte.
He's never truly retired, I guess. He's the Michael Jordan.
We also have Ugly Season by Perfume Genius.
Mm-hmm.
And My Other People by TV Priest.
Yeah. So something for everybody.
Well,
Maybe more like something for like two people that you know.
something for my other people.
Exactly.
Yes. All right, let's get into the news, and we start with the Grammys because they have announced rule changes.
Well, yeah, but the real story here is the new awards that they're announcing. The first time in a while that they put new categories in.
First time in a couple of years because
Yeah.
they changed a couple the names of some
They did.
and combined some stuff, but
They
this is
did.
actually a new category.
Yeah, brand new categories here.
Yep. So the Recording Academy has announced several new awards and rule changes for the Grammy Awards, including Songwriter of the Year,
That's the big one.
parentheses, non-classical,
Mhm.
along with Best Score Soundtrack for Video Game and Other Interactive Media,
Pretty cool.
and a Special Merit Award for Best Song for Social Change.
Ambivalent about this one. Like I get it, but like I feel like I don't know. This is a path down to best feel good song of the year. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to MTV Movie Awards up your award show too much, and I feel like that's edging to that.
So this where Happy by gets an award?
No. I think this is more like this is where remember "Same Love" by Macklemore back in the
Yes.
day. That's where something like that would go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
It's the "We Are the World"
it's
award.
the We Are the World Award. Other amendments include changes to the Grammys entry and voting process, including a rule that ups the minimum new content for album eligibility from 50% up to 75%.
Interesting move. I can't think of an example right now, but it makes me think that this is a way to pare down album of the year a little bit from albums that are made up of singles that were released the previous year.
Mhm.
So that way you don't get those like 25 song long Drake records with a lot of old shit maybe in contention here. I don't know exactly what they're trying to target here, but ultimately it's probably a good idea. The percentages actually reminded me of a little bit of the Academy's rules for animation.
Yeah.
It's like I had a little bit of thoughts about that. It's like, oh, it's kind of similar in the way that they're like being very granular with how they're designating these things.
So watch a 12-track album only have 4 repeat songs now, just to get that cut off.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yep. So all updates go into effective immediately.
Yeah.
For the 65th Annual Grammy Awards, which are taking place next year, 2023.
So yeah, the next Grammys. So yeah, start thinking about video game scores that you think are Grammy worthy.
Like
Horizon
that came out this year.
Yeah, Horizon, God of War will probably have a killer
Bear McCreary, God of War. Yeah.
That's it.
I like the Kirby beats.
Yeah, Kirby's good, but it's
Kirby's
like
good.
different. Yeah, maybe I don't know. They just gave a Grammy to a Kirby remix, so
Just
it could happen.
Dance.
No, I don't think that counts.
Okay.
Anyways.
All right. The specifics of the rule changes are expected and can be seen on the Grammys' actual website, Grammy.com. But sources tell Variety that the songwriter category is limited to non-performing and non-producing songwriters, i.e., those who are credited solely as a writer or co-writer.
This makes this category extremely interesting to me because when you think songwriters, you usually think singer-songwriters. So for example, Taylor Swift can't win this unless it's for a song that she didn't perform.
But you know who could win this? Well, as an example, it would be Dolly Parton winning this when, oh God, what's her face? Whitney Houston saying, I'll always love you.
That's a good example.
That's the best example I can provide.
But yeah, I just think it's very
Whitney Houston never wrote it. Dolly Parton wrote it.
I guess this is to prevent it to being too similar to the Song of the Year Grammy.
Yeah.
Because when I brought this up to Christy, that's the first thing she says. Like, wait a minute, don't they have Song of the Year for the writers? And like, no, but this is an opportunity for somebody to win for maybe several songs that they've written that year. Like, it's not just a song; it's possibly a bunch of work that they've done.
So does that mean that someone who sings on a song, that song is automatically disqualified
if they are the writer? So for example, like I said, Taylor Swift can't win this as long as she's singing it.
As long as they're given credit on it.
Also, that means producers also don't count here. So that means that Jack Antonoff, even though if he has a writing credit on a Taylor song, can't win because he also produced it.
He's also producing the album.
So yeah, this is very specific, but I also think it's cool because that just shows you how little songwriters that aren't performers and producers are respected. That they didn't have a Grammy until Fast Now.
Oh, there's a lot of songwriters out there.
Yeah, they're out there. They're especially in like the country world.
Mhm.
The country industry is built on the backs of songwriters who make their entire career selling songs to prominent artists.
Yep.
It's how Nashville works.
It's a 10-year town where you're going to write songs for 10 years,
Exactly.
and then someone's going to give you a shot to produce your own album.
Yeah. So as Marin said, it was a song about a car and a song about a church.
That I wrote.
Exactly. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I think it's an exciting new category that could open up the Grammy to a lot of people who probably deserved one a long time ago.
Yeah, I think it's really fun.
Cool.
But speaking of things that aren't so fun,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to turn to a little of in memoriam here for former Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins, whose death was announced back in March.
Yeah.
Well, the band, Foo Fighters, and Hawkins' family have announced tribute concerts that will take place in September in London and Los Angeles. The concerts will be held on September 3rd at London's extremely huge Wembley Stadium.
Yeah.
And on September 27th at the not anywhere quite as big Kia Forum. It's just the Forum. You don't have to put Kia Forum.
It's the Kia Forum now.
Why do they have to brand it?
We're old.
Damn branding. The Forum at Los Angeles. And notably not former Staples Center, now
Right.
Crypto Arena.
Yeah.
Or right across the street, SoFi Stadium.
Yeah, you think they would do this at SoFi,
Yes.
but no.
But no.
Sure. All right, Kia.
Especially since I think the 27th is a Tuesday.
Weird, is it?
I think so. Because like if I'm thinking the 27th, like you want it on a weekend, but
Yeah.
it's like football season.
So they can't.
So they can't. Unless it's on the 20. Like I think 27th is a Tuesday. Let me do a quick check on that.
Calendar check.
All
What
right.
do we got?
Yeah, it's a Tuesday.
Yeah, it's a Tuesday. Well, club going up on a Tuesday. Forum going up on a Tuesday.
Anyways, Taylor Hawkins' wife, Allison, also issued a statement thanking fans for, quote, the outpouring of love each and every one of you have shown our beloved Taylor, as well as the band with their statement, quote, we consider every band member and the extended Foo Fighters team our family. Tickets for this event go on sale on Monday. Will you be getting tickets?
No.
What?
Because they're going to be sold out in like a minute. I'm not going to bother. No, this is going to be huge.
Yeah.
This is going to be a massive thing. The fact that they're doing one date and only in LA, well, and in London for our overseas fans. Hi. But yeah, like it's going to be an absolute shit show trying to get tickets to this thing. I can't imagine trying to get tickets to this thing. However, I'm happy to see that the Foo Fighters are performing again and doing this as a tribute to Hawkins. I think this is a perfect way to do a tribute. I think it's also a perfect way to like see what, like maybe an early preview what the band will be like without him, like how they're moving on, like what they're doing next, because they can't be done. Dave Grohl cannot stop working. He's a prolific man. He just can't stop.
It's not like when Linkin Park, when Chester Bennington died, he's the lead singer.
Right.
You got to replace your lead singer.
I'm not saying,
that's saying you can't replace the drummer.
I think, we're not saying that you can't replace Taylor Hawkins. Yes, he was incredible for the Foo Fighters, and he's singular individual as a drummer. So we're not saying that he's just a placeholder. You could put any other drummer in there. All I'm saying is that I'm glad that they are realistic about this and be like, but we're a band and we love playing music, and our fans love the Foo Fighters. I think that's the key. Like the statement says, the extended Foo Fighters team, it's a family to them. They want to keep going. They want to still exist. And I think this is a good torch passing of one era of Foo Fighters ending and another beginning.
It's not listed here, but it is billed as Foo Fighters and guests, special guests.
Right. So who knows who's going to show up?
We don't know who's going to show up.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to even announce who's going to show up.
No, it'll be surprise.
It'll just be surprise after surprise after surprise.
I would be surprised if it was a lot of people that were like tangential to the Foo Fighters coming up, like a lot of bands from that era.
Yeah.
Like maybe we'll see some Stone Temple Pilots in there. Maybe we'll see some
Black Keys.
Yeah, maybe. All sorts of bands that either influenced them or were around them in the scene at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could be really cool.
I'm gonna try and get tickets.
I mean, go for it.
I'm gonna go for it.
You can try.
Oh,
You can
try is
try.
the optimal word there.
Yeah.
Like you said, I expect this thing to be sold out instantly if you're not.
Yeah.
Like in there, like
I mean,
right at like 10
didn't
a.m.
even-
whenever it starts.
I didn't even try to get early tickets to Carly Rae Jepsen at the Creek because I was like, things have changed since the last time I saw her. It's not going to be easy anymore.
Well, she's
So,
putting out a new album too.
that too. But anyway.
Anyways,
I see you've added a story here. I almost put this, but I thought the other two were a little bit more important.
yeah, that's why it's just a one-liner here.
Not saying this is not important. I'm just saying that like I didn't have room for it. But yeah.
But yeah, as of announced, less than 24 hours ago,
Yes.
Justin Bieber took to social media. Yes, that Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
To share that he has Ramsay Hunt disease.
Yeah.
Or syndrome, not disease.
Syndrome. And I guess what this means is that half his face has become paralyzed.
It's slowly becoming paralyzed. Yeah.
So I'm not sure what this means about his career. I don't know if he's going to continue performing and recording. I believe that he can still probably do it, but it might be more difficult for him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I have no idea what this means for Justin Bieber going forward, but it's certainly interesting. And I don't know where this came from.
Genetics.
I mean, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know anything about this. And we do not have time to look it up.
No, I'm not going to look it up because we have thoughts to talk about.
Yeah, just a handful.
Just a handful here, but
Yeah.
more to come. So you want to start or you want me to start?
I'll go ahead and start. I did catch up. I listened to a couple records that came out last week
Okay.
because I didn't get to them. I'll just be brief here. First up, the new Angel Olsen record, Big Time. I think you should check this out.
Ooh.
Angel Olsen's always been kind of like tangentially related to a folk kind of country sound. She deviated from that last couple of records. She went a little bit more big and orchestral. Here she goes full country. It is a traditional country record through the Angel Olsen lens. And it's a fun time. It does air a little bit towards the ballad side, so a little bit slower. So it's not what you would think as like a summer fun country kind of record, but it is very like traditional country sounds with the traditional Angel Olsen songwriting and her voice. I think it works. I think I really enjoy it. I think it's my favorite Angel Olsen record since Burn Your Fire for No Witness back in 2015. So I had a good time with it. So if you're a fan of hers, or if you want to try some like more like alternative classic country, I would say give it a shot. Then on the complete other end of the spectrum, I listened to 12 Karat Toothache, which I think I accidentally referred to in my solo cast last week as 24 Karat Toothache.
I think you did, yeah.
But yeah, 12 Karat Toothache by Post Malone.
I think you got confused with 24 Karat Golden.
I think I did, yes. But yeah, this is the new Post Malone record. And if you have listened to Post Malone's full albums before, you know more or less what to expect here. He is living on a fucking like genre roulette these days. He spins the wheel and he lands on something and he does it. But this time I think it works in his favor. It's actually feels of a piece. It doesn't deviate too much where it feels like, oh, that's weird. That was a weird experiment. It seems like it's very evenly balanced with pop songs and rap songs. And I think that, I'll say it again, just like Drake, he's so good at the pop songs that I don't even know why he raps still. I feel the same about Drake, but even more so about Post Malone. The pop songs here are good, like capital G good. Like he's very good at that.
He's a pop artist.
I mean, we saw that with Sunflower and with Circles before. The ones here are just as good, maybe even like better. The lowest points for me are the traditional raps. I think it starts kind of weak. It gets better as it goes. But yeah, if you like Post Malone, I think this is still him operating like the way that you would expect, but in a more refined way. And I think that the focus helps him. It's also not very long. It's like a 40-minute record, which is rare these days. So I enjoyed my time with it. I don't think I'm going to return to it. It's not 100% my jam, but don't be surprised if you find several of these songs on the radio as big hits soon. This will chart next week. Just watch.
Well, it's Post Malone.
Yeah.
I expect it to chart.
He will always chart.
Yes. All right. Speaking of things to where you know what you're expecting when you're going into it.
Right, yes.
Carrie Underwood put out a new album.
When you call it Denim and Rhinestones, you know exactly what you're getting.
Yes, Carrie Underwood lists things. Because we go together like denim and rhinestones.
Aww.
That's actually what the first
Yeah,
song
no,
is called.
I
Yes.
believe it. I 100% believe those are the lyrics of that song. You could have told me that before the song came out, and I would believe you. Anyway.
Anyways, yes, Dead and Rhinestones. It's actually a good Carrie Underwood album. It reminds me of Blown Away back in 2011.
So
A
this
lot
is
of it is a return to form. A lot of the
Yeah.
big bombastic, both rock, both pop. It's as if someone said, Carrie, you got to put out some hits here. You're going up
Because-
against Maren Morris. You're going up against
Yeah, because notably, the last thing she did was My Savior, that Christian record.
My Gift.
My Gift?
Yes.
Wasn't there also something called My Savior? Did she do two?
No, I think it was just My Gift, which was the Christmas Christian album.
Really? I thought there were two of those.
Right?
Whatever. Anyways, she was dabbling in Christian stuff for a little bit.
Yeah.
Now she's back to just her regular country career.
Yes. Problem is, though, Miranda Lambert came out with a full-on country
Yeah.
album a month ago.
I think they're doing different things. Yes, they're in the same kind of ballpark,
Umbrella of country.
but they're in different positions
Oh,
on that
they're totally
ballpark.
different
Yeah,
positions.
like I feel like
Carrie leans heavily into
Yeah.
that rock pop sound here,
yeah,
whereas Miranda leans solely into that country.
that rock
rock.
kind of zone nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But no, this is a good one.
all right.
I liked
Okay.
a lot of this stuff on this album. There's actually some stuff at the end of this album. I thought, hey, this sounds a bit like Carly Rae Jepsen.
Really?
Maybe she should sing stuff like this.
interesting.
It was super interesting and super good.
It's-
I really liked this album. I don't know if it's going to play by the time it's the end of the year, though.
Yeah,
That's the big problem I have with this, is that you're now competing with Miranda, with Casey,
yeah.
with
It's a wider field. And not-
Waterfield, Maggie
and
Tay.
I don't want to say to give the impression that we're like, oh, she's only competing against the women, because that's a little unfair.
No.
But like what I will
But
say though
contemporaries.
is that yeah, like I think that in the current country landscape though, is going to be enough for her to get back to that prominence that she was at before.
Even Dolly Parton's Run Rose Run, I want to say was a better record because I could see more visually with this. But this is
Sure.
definitely a rock pop album. This has
Yeah.
hits. This has singles.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily a full album, but what I've heard, I liked. I want her to continue it down this road. This is like her inner groove in her wheelhouse. You get the big, long Carrie yelling,
Mhm.
but also with like the rock hard. Carrie's just going at it hard, 100%.
Yeah,
I
get keys
really
some
liked it.
cars.
Yep,
Got it.
I really like this album.
All right, I might check this out. Once upon a time, I liked Carrie Underwood. I voted for her in American Idol. Fun fact.
15 years ago or
God.
something like that.
Oh yeah, it's probably longer than that. 2005.
Yeah,
Whew, anyways, time. Where does
Time.
it go?
time.
Yeah,
Anyway, speaking of time,
Yeah.
I also listened to a second album.
yeah.
Yeah,
Remind me,
Who-
which guy George Ezra is? Is he the Budapest guy?
he is the Budapest
okay,
guy.
I thought he was the Budapest guy.
He's the shotgun guy.
I only remember Budapest.
Everyone remembers Budapest. But yeah, that's George Ezra, and he's come out with a new album.
Right.
I think it's only on Apple Music right now. At least that's
Weird.
what the little subheader said
That's
to it.
odd. Okay.
Yeah, called Gold Rush Kid.
All right.
And this is exactly in, speaking of people in their wheelhouse, here comes George Ezra in his folksy guitars, acoustic, playing ass, just going at it. It's fun. I like it.
All right.
I think it's his best album to date. I don't know if it's going to be like big enough to like be pop though.
Yeah.
But he's definitely getting better,
Okay. all right.
especially over the course of the year. Especially what, Budapest was what, 5 years ago,
If not longer.
if not longer than that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's put out I think album since then. So this is his third or fourth album now.
Okay.
But he's definitely getting better. I like a lot of the lyrics in here. A lot of them, for some reason or another, just hit with me.
All right.
I couldn't explain it, but it's
Sure.
like it's just like the way he sings. That it's like, hey, I'm playing, but I'm playing to you, and I'm playing to stuff that you know and can relate to, and it just hits. The folksy songs hit.
Cool.
It's not big. He doesn't get drowned out. His voice is so soothing. That might be like what the key is. That's so unique and soothing that you're like, oh yeah, I'm just like bopping around and jamming to this thing.
All right.
It's a
So-
nice album.
Nice summer drive.
It's a nice summer drive album.
album. Okay. Sounds all right.
But then again, it's George Ezra.
Yeah.
It's a hit and miss with a lot of people. I know that.
Sure.
So
But overall, it
Mileage may vary.
seems like good vibes this week.
It's a good vibe.
Something for everybody. Something to put on your car and enjoy.
No bad albums.
Cool. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I think we can move on to the next section.
All right. So let's go to video games.
Big week in video games.
Oh, big week. And we'll start with new releases, including Neon White for the Switch and PC.
This seems cool as shit. This is a
first-person
card-based shooter that's also run-based.
Yeah, run and roguelike.
This, believe it or not, is one of the guys from remember Donut County?
Yes.
Yeah, Ben Esposito is part of this.
Really?
Yeah, I know. Complete departure from what Donut County was. That's enough for me to want to check this out. It's on Switch and PC, though, which is kind of limiting. I'd rather play this, on a PS5 if I could.
Yes.
But yeah, it's interesting nonetheless, and I might check this out.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of gameplay on this, and it looks weird. It looks crazy, but at the same time, it looks like it all meshes well together.
Yeah.
We also have Redout 2
racing
for everything.
Futuristic racing. I feel like this is like a kind of
Wipeout.
They weren't making Wipeout for a few years, so they decided to make a Wipeout with themselves.
Yep. There's also Skeleton Crew for the PC.
Don't know what this is.
It's Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
Omori for the PS4 and Switch.
Yeah.
And
the big one.
Your big release.
Well, I mean, kind of.
If you're into it.
If you're in your 40s.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge.
Yep.
For PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC.
They've been teasing this for years at this point, at least a couple years since they revealed it. This is a brawler in the form of like those old TMNT brawlers, like the arcade game
versions
and the NES game. It's in the style of that, except modernized. And yeah, it seems like if you're a Turtles fan, this is kind of the ultimate Turtles game.
Yep. Ultimate Turtles.
Ultimate Turtles. Yes. Teenage Mutant Ultimate Turtles.
Yep.
By the way, for our fans across the pond, those are the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
They can call them ninjas.
Did you not know that? Yeah,
No.
Apparently overseas, in certain regions, they called them the Hero Turtles in regions where ninja was like banned.
Really?
Yes. Look it up. Anyway,
I mean, I believe it, but weird EU, Peggy listings.
Predates Peggy, believe it or not.
Really?
I love Peggy though.
Yeah.
Peggy 18. Anyway.
Yes, that's dating yourself right there. Anyways,
I don't think they have Peggy anymore.
Not anymore. Anyways, it's the first week of June, which means it's E3.
Except it's not, weirdly enough. E3, of course, isn't happening this year, but in its place is the Summer Games Fest, or the Summer Games Mess, depending on who you ask. And this is Jeff Keighley's rounding up of all the developers who would have showed something at E3 if there was one. So this is going over the course of, I would say a week, but it's beyond that, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a giant schedule spreadsheet that I was like, I'm not even going to bother with this. That broke down everybody who's showing something in the next few weeks. But it started properly yesterday with what they call opening. What do they call that thing? Opening Day Live or something like that?
Yeah, where he went through a 2-hour just live stream of bringing on different developers, talking about their games, doing footage, big reveals, trailers.
So let's go through what they showed yesterday in that.
So the big announcement, which shocked nobody.
Because it was leaked right before the show.
The Last of Us Part 1.
Yes.
Was announced. Sorry for those of you who were expecting Part 3. May or may not actually be in the works. Who knows? But it is the remake of the first game from the PS3 area.
Yeah.
Which got a remaster for the PS4.
Right.
And now it's getting completely redone with the new engine and with the new graphics for the PS5 and PC.
I wanted to note that and stress this. That means that there's not going to be a PS4 version of this because there's obviously already a PS4 version of this. Mm-hmm. So this is purely a PS5 and PC, like the most horsepower they can pump into the original game as possible. It looks like for some of the comparison shots they showed, they're actually redoing a lot of the character animation in cutscenes. They showed the remastered version of Ellie right next to the new version of it, part one version of Ellie, and it's night and day.
Yeah,
it's very similar to what stuff looked like in part 2. So I am not interested in this at all because I played the first one and then I played the remaster and then I bounced right off of part 2. So I'm like, I think I don't need to go back to part 1.
I don't need to go back to part 1 either. I'm not, like I said, this is for people who
missed
it.
Yeah.
And then missed the remaster.
Yeah, I don't get I obviously I know who this is for, but I'm like just like how many of those people are around? Like, so I feel like if you played part 2, you had to have played or at least know the context for part 1.
Mm-hmm.
Is this just to have something with Last of Us on the box for when the HBO series starts?
Which they did bring out a couple people to say, hey, we're going to be in it.
So I don't know. I don't know what to feel about this. It's very strange to me, but I'm sure it'll sell like crazy because it's The Last of Us.
Because it's The Last of Us.
But that's not the only Last of Us thing they confirmed.
No, because they also confirmed that the multiplayer game will be coming in its own standalone game.
Separate thing.
Separate. What was originally supposed to be part of an attachment to Last of Us Part 2 is now getting its complete own new game, own new setting. Spoilers, it looks like San Francisco, or at least Oakland.
Yeah, something Bay Area.
Or Brooklyn, who knows? It's just a bridge in the background.
Maybe.
But yeah, standalone game, not connected.
Yeah.
Own separate characters. Unknown if it's going to have a story involved.
I bet there's context.
I bet there will be some context in there. But for the most part, we will be getting a multiplayer game. ...
Someday.
At some point.
Yeah.
Possibly next year.
They only showed early concept art, and we're talking about it very conceptually. They mentioned that it's going to be a multiplayer, not necessarily just competitive. It looked like there's going to be some cooperative elements, and there will be some sort of overarching story that will guide you through that experience. But it's going to be focused on multiplayer, a live game, if you will. It's part of that Sony's new push for live games.
Live service games.
The 10, I think they said that they're going to launch over the next 5 years.
Yep.
So this is Naughty Dog helping Sony with that project. Again, I don't know.
Speaking of Naughty Dogs,
but
speaking of Naughty Dogs and projects,
yeah,
they also confirmed that their team is big enough to support several IPs running at the same time.
Which makes you think, wait a minute, I thought they were done with Uncharted. Do we finally see something new?
Or do we see what the next thing is past Last of Us Part 3?
All I can say is that I hope to God they don't do sci-fi horror. because
a lot of developers are leaning heavily into sci-fi horror.
Right.
Including, but not limited to, Fort Solis.
So Fort Solis, they didn't show footage of this, but they confirmed that this will have Troy Baker in it.
Aliens, Dark Descent.
This is a new Aliens game. It's unclear exactly what kind of game it is. They just showed some cutscene footage of it, but it's yet another game in the Aliens universe.
Yep. Routine, which may or may not be in line with 12 minutes, where you're just doing a time loop.
But sci-fi horror shooter. And more footage of the Callisto Protocol, which is the Dead Space thing. Yeah, we talked about that briefly last week, or I talked about that briefly last week for the Sony stuff. They showed this at State of Play, but they actually showed gameplay of it this time, and it looks even more like Dead Space than it did before. So
wait, you mean the square ass gun does not give it away that it's Dead Space?
Health on your back, they love Dead Space so much. I mean, it's the guy who made it, so I get it makes sense. But seriously, just the 1-2 punch of this and then the Dead Space remake a month later is wild to me. If you like Dead Space, you're very, very happy right now.
If you like Call of Duty, you're also very happy because Modern Warfare 2 gameplay was it a 14-minute trailer of the opening watercraft on the boat thing.
Yeah, I don't want to shock anybody by saying this, but it looks like Modern Warfare.
I don't want to shock anyone, but it looks pretty good because the reason they show the one on the boat is so they can show off the water physics, show off the light bouncing, and show off all the gunplay.
I mean, I really liked that reboot Modern Warfare a few years ago. I think it was the best Call of Duty they've done in a long time. But then they whiffed twice in a row, so I don't know.
Right, but this is Warfare 2.
I know.
So it's not resulting on anything former.
And I imagine that this will also be the vehicle that they put out a new Warzone with.
Yes.
So expect a new generation of that.
So yeah, Modern Warfare. I want to say it's coming out in October.
Mhm.
That's what I saw. They also announced Layers of Fears
Yeah.
from Bloober Team.
Yeah.
Not Silent Hill.
Yeah, I mentioned that because this requires some context. So the last month has been nothing but rumors about Silent Hill coming back. Like, so much evidence that Bloober Team specifically was developing some sort of Silent Hill game,
Mhm.
and that if they were going to announce it, it would be this week. Well, they were on this list, and everybody thought for sure that this was going to be Silent Hill. Turns out it's not. So Layers of Fears looks like not necessarily a remake or a remaster, but like a reconceptualization of their previous Layers of Fear games, which they have previously put out. This is kind of a reimagination, I guess, if you will, of that. So if you liked those horror games, then maybe you're excited for this. But I feel like I have not heard good things about Bloober Team's output for people who actually like horror games. So we'll see. We'll see on that one.
We'll see. There's also a showcase from a new studio, Nightingale, who were former BioWare devs.
Yeah.
And they showed a new procedural generation system.
Yeah, so just some tech
demo
show off stuff.
Yep. There's also Marvel's Midnight Suns.
Yes.
A new trailer for that. A little bit more of the story, but also confirmed October 7th release date.
Mm-hmm.
And will feature Spider-Man because that's how you're going to try and get people into it.
So yeah, this is, in case you missed it, this is the XCOM with Marvel's superheroes.
Yep.
So could be cool.
This also leans into the Midnight Suns MCU that
Yes.
people really, really want.
Yes.
So if this is your first foray into Midnight Suns, it may not be your last foray into Midnight Suns.
Yeah.
They also showed off Stormgate, which is with a new RTS from ex-Blizzard devs.
Yep.
More Street Fighter 6 gameplay, which was also showed off at
State of Play
State
before.
of Play.
Also, Capcom will have their own event this week where they will show even more Street Fighter 6 stuff, at least the stuff that hasn't already been leaked.
Yep. There's also a Flashback 2 trailer, sequel to Flashback, the game from the 90s, I want to say.
Yeah. Like a 2D guy, like rotoscope animation thing finally coming back.
And lastly, Saints Row.
Hey.
Not officially announced a release date.
Well, no, that's still August. That's still August. Still August.
Okay.
It was February, and then they delayed it to August. That's still coming out, but we get a little tease.
Yes, we get Saints Row: Boss Factory, which is a character creator demo available now.
Yeah, if that name sounds familiar, it's because they're obviously playing off of the very popular, I believe it's a Polygon feature, Monster Factory, which was, I believe, one of the McElroys was involved in that, which was basically like, let's see what grotesque things we can make in a character creator in a game. So this is a character creator. It's a demo for the character creator that will be in the Saints Row game. Unclear whether there's some gameplay attached to this. The footage suggested that maybe there is a little bit of an open world that you can play around with this character creator.
If you want to run around and like try out your character,
I'm not sure. I'll check this out. This is out now. As of the announcement, they dropped it right away. I will check this out before next week, so I'll be able to talk about it. But you know me. If you know this podcast, you know me. I love a good character creator. I will just sit down for an hour and just tool around with the character creator if you give me the time. So as soon as I get home, that is what I'm doing. So I'll definitely talk about this next week and see what's in here.
Yeah, it looked insane.
It looks
crazy.
Elaborate.
It's
I saw you can pick like number of teeth in the mouth kind of shit. Like they're going really deep in this one, and all sorts of sliders and nudity.
As soon as you get to sliders and changing skin tones, you're like, yep. And then just accessory after accessory up the wazoo.
Get ready.
Yep. I expect some very both creative and also not creative characters to come out of this.
Yeah. So look forward to that.
Yep. But if you notice, we're talking mainly about PlayStation stuff and kind of Switch stuff. So that just leaves, where's the Xbox stuff? Well, Xbox having their Fan Fest Chex Watch tomorrow.
So yes, if you're listening to this, it will be Sunday the 12th, regardless of when you're listening to this. So before or after. But yes, as of this live show, it is tomorrow. That is the Xbox and Bethesda showcase. But we did hear a couple things from the company ahead of that presentation.
Including that Microsoft is expanding its Xbox Game Pass Ultimate offering
Mhm.
with game demos and the
Hey,
ability to play purchase games via cloud streaming.
where have I heard game demos recently? Oh yeah, that's what Sony's doing. I wonder if they were gonna do that already, or whether this pushed their hand, where they're like, all right, we should probably do the same shit.
Like, oh, why can't we do the same
Why can't
shit?
we do this?
Yep.
I'm very interested in how they do demos because obviously we know Game Pass has what first day releases for first party stuff. So is
Mhm.
this third party games that aren't on Game Pass? What is this? So I'm really interested to see what demos are offered.
Later this year,
Yeah.
the company said it intends to roll out the ability for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members to play from the cloud, quote, select games they have already owned or have purchased
Yeah.
outside the outside the Xbox Game Pass library.
Could be cool. Could be a cool way around things that not everything's obvious on Game Pass. So, for example, like if they do a deal with like Activision or something, they can get, hey, Modern Warfare 2, did you buy it? Well, you have it, so here, play it on our cloud.
Mhm.
We don't care. You bought it. That would be cool.
Additionally, Microsoft has said it's on track to release at least 5 first-party games in the next year, which would match or exceed its output of the previous 12 months.
Yeah, this is, I think, a response to everybody was like, what does Microsoft have this year?
Yep.
There's no announcements.
Where's the first-party game?
Nothing.
Why do I own this if I can't play it? If I
After,
can play it also on other stuff?
like after Halo, it's just been a desert for them. One last thing that wasn't in this story, but I want to add is that Samsung announced that they will have a Xbox Game Pass streaming channel built into their future televisions. Kind of their move to get a lot of video game streaming options on there. So that's one of the apps that they will feature. So that's Xbox starting to dip into putting Game Pass streaming, cloud streaming on other devices besides Xbox.
Also note, I don't think there's a huge announcement for this, but Netflix does have games available to play.
That we might be able to talk about next week because they have a slated show that they're going to talk about their shit this week. So get ready. It seems like early news seems to suggest that it's that it's very simple kind of games. Like they confirmed that Oxenfree 2, the sequel to Oxenfree, will be coming to this thing, as well as Kentucky Route Zero, which was an adventure game that was released in parts over the last few years. So it's that kind of game we expect to see on Netflix.
It's got to be something that's able to play either point and click or on a phone.
Yeah. Neat idea, though. But we'll see what they do.
Like I said, you can go on Netflix right now, and there is a game section that you can play some app-like games.
But they're making deals.
But they're making actual deals.
Yeah, they're making new deals for new
we'll
games.
Figure that out possibly next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about that maybe next week.
All right. But we have thoughts.
Yeah.
I have thoughts. So, did you happen to get around to playing Horizon Forbidden West New Game Plus?
No, because remember, I do not have a copy of that anymore. I returned it to the GameFly. But eventually, maybe I will return to that game. So, but for now, no.
Well, I got around to at least starting it.
Okay.
And I like how to be able to do Game Plus.
Sure.
But then I realized, oh, wait, that's right. This game is so goddamn long.
Yeah,
it took me 3 months to beat this game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, after I got through the first part, I'm like, and like right into the new open world, I'm like, do I really want to go through all of this again? Like, I'm all souped up now. I'm able to take out enemies quickly, but at the same time, I know how long it takes you to get at least halfway through before everything else starts to open up.
And I don't think this is for people who just finished it. I think this is maybe come back a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like give it some months.
Let it breathe.
There's nothing coming out this year. You'll have time.
Or I'll have time by the end of the year when come back into this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's there. It still looks good, but yeah, it's fun. Like having all your weapons come back with you, and you're just like, oh yeah, mow you down, bomb, 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 done.
Right.
Like feel like the badass that you always wanted to be. But I do like that you can get the upgraded weapons. I just haven't gotten that far yet.
Sure.
But in the meantime, what I have been playing my time with is Summer Game. And I've talked about playing Summer Game. That being Lego Star Wars: Skywalker Saga.
All right. So how is this treating you so far? I know it deviates from the traditional Lego formula in a few ways. I saw some footage that was like, wait, there's numbers popping off of enemies? What is this, Borderlands?
Yes. So yeah, you get numbers popping off of the enemies.
Yeah.
Not just that, but gone are the traditional side-scrolling adventures now. It's open world based.
Open world, okay.
Similar to how I want to say No Man's Sky, where each planet is its own open world.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, you
like Mario Odyssey.
Mario Odyssey a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all open world based. It's you run around. There's a shit ton of stuff to do. Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm just going through the story so I can unlock all the characters and then go back and farm everything. But it is fun. This is the definition of fun. This is the definition of people who love not just the Lego games, but Lego Star Wars games as well.
Yeah.
And rebuilding it, pun intended, from the ground up.
So now that we're playing it, do you have an idea of why it took so long for this thing to finish?
Oh, so many goddamn characters.
Yeah, it's just big, huh?
It's just huge. I'm in the middle of episode 6. I've already gone through 1 through 3.
Yeah.
And then 4, 5, and then 6 right now. Then I'll get through 7, 8, 9. It wants you to play episode 4 first, but you can play any trilogy in any order you want.
Okay.
You also can jump around. Like you want to play the first episodes of everyone, and then the second episodes, and then the third episodes. It allows you to jump around, but it does lock the story from per trilogy.
Okay.
So
you have to finish the entire trilogy before you move on to the next one.
No. In terms of you can't play episode 3 until you've played episode 1 and 2.
Oh, okay. You just have to go in chronological order.
No, like I can start with 7.
No, you know what I mean. Within the trilogy.
Within the trilogy, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You can't just go straight to episode 3.
No.
From the top.
Yeah, it wants you to play story mode within everything.
Which makes sense.
It makes sense.
Story-wise.
A lot of the humor is still there. You get little chuckles here, especially if you're familiar with the previous games.
Yeah.
Gone are the carrots everywhere and replaced with cake for some reason. Weird, yes. But it's also a very memeable game. As in, all the cutscenes are just the memes that we've seen online.
Yeah.
They're just the core elements to get you to know the story, assuming, for some reason or another, you've never actually watched Star Wars.
Or if you have, it's like wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
Look at the thing we're doing.
It's like, haha, we know this thing's coming up, so we're just going to like lean right into it and say the lines you want us to say.
That's actually the next question I had for you. Do the Legos talk in this?
Yes, they do.
I don't like when the Legos talk.
That's okay, because there is a mumble mode you can turn
Yes!
on. That is the one thing that I do love about this is that all the collectibles and stuff, you can unlock different things.
Oh, that's great. Yes.
One including mumble mode.
Please.
There's like breadstick lightsabers. There's party. There's Disco World, where everyone's disco. Everyone's just dancing constantly. It's a disco party.
That's fun.
But all these are part of the unlockables, and there's so many goddamn things to unlock. That's part of the fun thing of Legos.
Oh yeah.
Of Lego games is that there's always so much stuff to unlock. But what Lego Star Wars does great is that it splits it up into 2 parts, both the hub world unlockables as well as the in-game like level unlockables. Mm-hmm. So as much as you need to complete the levels, like 100% collect everything, there's a lot more to unlock in the open hub world. It reminds me a lot of what Marvel did with the Avengers games and the Marvel Heroes games, where it's a big open world, whether it was Manhattan or the chronological or Chrono City, whatever it was for Lego Heroes 2, where it's open world. You're running around, you're collecting everything, but each different planet is its open world in itself.
Okay.
So it's not. So unfortunately, they're not all connected, but each world is huge enough to support a reason being its own planet. Not necessarily its own planet, but its own like city within the planet, because you don't.
Okay.
Stupid Star Wars jargon. You don't go to the whole planet. You go to the city within the planet.
Yeah, I know. It's confusing sometimes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're going to Bespin. Like, no, you're going to Cloud City in Bespin.
In Bespin.
Yes.
Or the forest moon of Endor.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
Or Mos Espa on Tatooine. You're not going to the whole of Tatooine. But each but each city is stupidly huge to where one you can kind of get lost at points, but you can also like trigger accessibilities and way maps and stuff. So it's fun. It's accessible. It's a really good game. Not just for like young and old. It spans the gamut. It's a family game. It's a fun game. I can't praise the thing long enough.
Then the question is, as a veteran of the Lego series, do you think this is the best one they've done?
Yes, because it's more than the complete saga.
Because this might be a little, I ask because this is kind of a swan song, because this is the last one in this Warner deal. So what happens next for Lego? Do you think that they get another developer to do something similar to this game? Or do you think they wipe the slate clean and let a developer come up with a brand new idea for a Lego franchise?
I say give me DLC for The Mandalorian.
So you're saying, I'm not done with this game. Let me have this game.
Oh, no, I'm happy with this game, with Skywalker Saga, but I'm saying, can we please add on to it like all the extra stuff that's come onto it, like the Bad Batch, where you can go, like where you can do separate. I mean, that actually wouldn't be a bad thing if you do Clone Wars expansion, and each planet has its own single mission, because there's like 15 planets on there, so you just throw in 15 missions of running around as clone troopers fighting the Clone War. You can do the Mandalorian because that's also planet hopping. Put that in there. You can do like Ahsoka because that's coming out soon as well.
I mean, we'll see.
There's a lot of stuff that you can still add with it.
It's just that I don't know if this team is making more content for
this
because of all the drama. Like this thing existed on either side of this complete shakeup in the company. That's one of the reasons, presumably, why it took as long as it did. So I don't know if you can put more content on this. That's why I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if they do just completely just wipe the slate clean and be like, okay, new developer, you make a new Lego game. So this might be it.
I don't know if I would want a new Lego game. It's that good.
It's the forever Lego game.
It's the forever Lego game. It's a legacy game. It's a saga game. It's a love letter to the game.
Yeah.
To not just Legos, but also to Star Wars and all the Lego games that came before it. It's like, we know what you're expecting because we assume you've played them. But also, if you haven't, here's the twist we're putting on it. So it's new and fresh for you.
Well, cool. I'm glad that it's good, and I'm glad that it's enough content to keep you busy for a while. I would not be
definitely
surprised.
Enough characters.
I would not be surprised if we talk about this more at the end of the year.
Oh, you will definitely not be surprised to talk about.
All right, let's move on then. All I played more Vampire Survivors, which, by the way, you need to check that out.
You told me to check that out.
Oh my god. So yeah, like I said, it's $3.
Yeah.
And I think you could play on anything.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's just not on Switch, unfortunately. It would be the perfect Switch game.
I'll have some time tomorrow. Maybe I'll check it out.
It's on computer though, so you'd have to figure out how to finagle that in this.
Oh, on a computer?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I said, it's not on console.
So it's on PC.
So
I can play it on my phone?
No.
Okay.
Sorry. So you might have to wait, but once you have the ability to play it,
you
should play
it. I may or may not have the ability to play it this weekend. I'll talk about that after.
But yeah, it's nice, and yeah, if you have a Game Pass subscription, it's on PC Game Pass as well.
Okay.
But yeah, it's fun. It's addictive. It's something that you just you'll spend hours doing it.
Okay.
In fact, I'm gonna try to force myself to download and play that Saints Row thing instead of going straight to Vampire Survivors. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah, there's not much more to talk about that than I said last week. It is what it is. It's that game, and I'm excited to play more of it.
Yep.
All right, let's move on then after that into television. Our second half of the show begins here. We start television with the Sports Corner.
An actual Sports Corner.
Sports Corner, there it is. We start with the French Open. We talked about the matchup last week. Rafael Nadal has won, so congratulations again.
Yep. Also follow up, Coco Gauff lost both finals for singles and doubles. Unfortunate, but she is only 18, we'll expect her to be back.
Oh yeah, definitely. Meanwhile, in the NBA Finals, the Celtics and the Warriors are tied 2-2
as of last night.
So,
my pick is still the Celtics.
I could see it. Meanwhile, in the NHL, the Avalanche have advanced to the finals against the Lightning. Or no, not against the Lightning quite yet. with the Lightning leading the Rangers 3-2. So we'll see. Likely it will be the Lightning, but we'll see.
Yep. I think they play tonight as of this recording, but as of next week, we will know who's in the Stanley Cup Finals, and I think we'll also know who's the NBA champion by then.
So there you go. We'll talk about that next week. And then baseball, just a notable franchise record happened this last week. The Angels, who had a hot start this season, looked great. Everybody was firing on all cylinders. 14-game losing streak.
Franchise record, 14-game losing
record, beating a previous streak of 13, which even that had an asterisk to it. So, yeah, 14-game. They ended up breaking that, a game I attended on Thursday. So they are back in regular competition. Believe it or not, all that still number 2 in the division and still only like 2 games and a half away from a wild card spot.
So over the last 16 games, they've won 1.
So yeah, we'll see how it goes. They're against the Mets right now, which sucks, but hopefully they'll fix things up and we'll see that playoff worthy team that we saw the first few weeks.
New manager
also happened. That's another thing is manager Joe Maddon got relieved of his duties, aka fired.
Also, Joe Girardi for the Philadelphia Phillies was also relieved of his duties.
Yes, so a lot of
I've been patiently waiting for the Joe swap to happen.
Yeah, Joe swap. I told Christy is like, no, he'll be back. Joe will try to find somewhere to go, some club to go to next. I don't think he's going to be unemployed for that long.
No.
Man loves to manage and listen to the Beach Boys and surf. That's what the 3 things that Joe Maddon loves. Anyways, I love the man. I'm actually kind of sad to see him go, but
he's going to Miami.
Yeah,
he's going to the Marlins.
Oh, that'd be perfect for him.
Yep.
Visit Margaritaville. Anyway, yeah, he's all our boomer grandfathers.
Yep.
Love the guy. Anyways, let's move on. Anything else in sports before we move on besides the big sports story that I'll talk about?
Oh, that's the big sports story, though.
Then let's talk about it.
There's some NFL news having around contracts are being signing, including last year's Triple Crown winner, MVP winner, I think it's World MVP as well. Cooper Kupp signed new contract extension, guaranteed highest receiver. Also, Aaron Donald, guaranteed signed contract. So that's the Rams just paying out. And once again, the salary cap is a myth for NFL teams.
Yes, clearly. All right, with that, let's move on to our big sports story this week. All right, I'm going to say this 3 different ways. I'm going to see which one is correct.
All right.
Is this LIV golf? Is this 54 golf? Or is this live golf?
What if I told you it was all of them?
All right. Well, whatever you call it, it is a new professional golf tour financed by the Public Investment Fund, the Sovereign Wealth Fund of Saudi Arabia, and will have its inaugural event this weekend at the Centurion Club in London. The PGA Tour responded with a statement from Commissioner Jay Monahan implying that golfers who choose to play in a new league would no longer be eligible to play in the PGA Tour. The name, LIV, 54 or live, is a reference to the Roman numeral for 54, the score if every hole on a par 72 course were birdied and the number of holes to be played at the events of this league. Players include Dustin Johnson, Sergio Garcia, Kevin Na, Luis
Louis,
Patrick Reed, Bryson DeChambeau, and Phil Mickelson.
Yes, that Phil Mickelson, who hasn't played on a PGA Tour in 5 months.
That makes sense. There will be 12 teams of 4 players to compete in a 7-event regular season with an 8th and final team championship event. The PGA has since come out and banned all the players who participate in live golf. I'm going to call it live because it reminds me of Liv Tyler. I realize that it's 54, but still.
Yeah. But yeah.
Sure. This is weird timing, considering didn't we just have a whole thing about
on live golf?
About comments about Saudi Arabia involved in golf? Like, didn't this just happen?
Oh, yes. This was participated from Phil Mickelson, who participated in a golf tournament.
Right.
Well, Greg Norman is, I think, the CFO of Live Golf.
So it's interesting because Greg Norman has always been like really intertwined with the PGA. So it's interesting that he would kind of 180.
Break.
Something you didn't mention though is the signing bonuses these guys are getting.
Oh, we're getting there.
That's kind of the craziest part. The PGA can't compete, which is why I think it's absolutely idiotic of them to ban them when all these guys, because Bubba Watson's likely going, there's more and more people going, because how can you say no to a $120 million signing bonus?
So here's the difference between Live Golf and the PGA. The PGA does not pay salaries. You get money in the PGA by competing in tournaments that the PGA puts on and making the cut and placing within the finals.
Sure.
Live Golf, because it's sponsored by Saudi Arabia and they can take lots of loss on money,
right,
just to get the names out there, are paying signing bonuses up to $150 million. There were reports that they're going to pay Tiger Woods somewhere in the north of the high nine figures.
I heard
nine figures, like almost $1 billion.
They offered him $1 billion. That's what I read, and he said no because obviously his health isn't really being able to participate in all these tournaments.
Not only that, but you lose out on PGA stuff.
Right.
You're banned from playing on the PGA Tour. There are 4 notable golf events throughout the year. The U.S. Open to anyone. There's no ban on that.
Right.
The British Open, open to anyone. No ban on that.
If you qualify.
You have to qualify, though.
Yeah, it's key.
Caveat, but go on.
You can't just walk up and be like, I'm in.
Right. The last holdout is the Masters.
Right.
That is a separate non-PGA sponsored event put on by the people at Augusta National Golf Club.
Yeah.
It's invite only. They are not beholden to the PGA. If someone from Live Golf goes and wins the Masters, it just adds more fuel to their fire.
So the one thing we're not talking about here, the one thing that hasn't come up yet, is of course the politics of this, because the reason why beyond that can't compete, as you mentioned, the PGA Tour is not having this is because it's very established that Saudi Arabia has a bad human rights record. This year, there was another story about a journalist being it's bad shit. So I get why you would make these statements publicly, be like, if you guys do this, we don't want any part of it. We're washing our hands clean of you because we don't want the PR nightmare that happens if this falls apart. So that's also a big moving part here, beyond the sports of it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, this is where money talks more, because people like Phil Mickelson, I want to say it was Phil Mickelson, or maybe it was Dustin Johnson, who received $150 million signing bonus. Tiger Woods, in all his years of playing golf, has only earned prize money of $121 million.
Yeah.
And that's just signing bonus. That's just signing money to play in this tournament. Also note that this tournament, Live Golf, is separate from PGA, where PGA you're individual. Live Golf is actually a team sport.
Yeah.
There's 54 players. Actually, there's 48 players, which means there's 4 teams of 12. What they do is a shotgun start. So it's not you have a tee time, go 1 through 18. Everyone starts at a different hole. Each team starts at a different hole, and you play through and rotate. So it's constant golf. It moves faster. So if you start hole 15, you're going to play through 18 and then go back around to 1 through to 14. So it's constant golf. It's constantly moving. It's 4 players on a team. You get not just your signing bonus, but there's a $20 million pool of money for all the teams as well per event. So Saudi Arabia is just basically throwing a lot of money into this thing to try and pull people from it. Whether it will work, I think it's okay. So the way I've read it online is that they're okay with taking a loss this first year because they want the notoriety, they want the big splash.
Yeah.
They want what's going to happen in the year after that and after that until it does become profitable. It's basically the Netflix approach of, we're going to throw a bunch of money at this now, take the loss, and eventually we'll get back up into the green.
So I guess we'll see how it goes.
But yes, as you mentioned, it's got the big caveat of Saudi Arabia attached to it.
It's complicated, and we can't really go much into it here, but just know that.
But what I can say is that it's a business.
Yeah, and money talks.
Money talks.
The sad part, and these golfers see that, and the golfers want money. I don't blame them.
I mean, if you're Dustin Johnson, former number one in the world, and you're gonna give him $150 million
Right.
before he even
Yeah.
steps on a golf course.
Yes, then you're gonna take it.
Then
If
you're
you want
gonna
that money.
Yeah,
It's going to divide it's going to, what it is and already has done is it's dividing a line down the middle of the golf community, whether or not you're cool with this or not.
the reason they can't get Tiger Woods, how they won't get Tiger Woods, is not because of the money, but because of all Tiger Woods' sponsorship and deals
Yeah.
that he's made outside and his public image. That if he goes here,
No, there's no way.
there's no way he's going to come back from it.
He's too associated with PGA name. He's too associated with American brands. Yeah, you're right. There's no way. But we've been shocked before, so who the hell knows anymore?
Who knows? But that is the big news.
That was big
in
news
sports.
in sports. But elsewhere in television, a lot of stuff is happening. So much that we have some bits for you. The bits.
First
up in the bits, we talk about yet another old thing coming back. Guess what, 2000s people? Scrubs might be coming back. Cast and creator Bill Lawrence have all said recently at the ATX TV festival that they would be willing to do a revival for a special or a movie. So not necessarily a full series reboot, but maybe some sort of reuniting movie or special with the original cast with Bill Lawrence attached. I could see it.
Yes.
Bill Lawrence obviously has had a new success with Ted Lasso, so he has connections. I could see this being an
That's
Apple TV
also
Plus
why
thing.
he can't come back necessarily to do a full series.
But Ted Lasso ends after this coming season, so he might be free.
I think didn't we say that he already signed on for other stuff as well?
I believe we did talk about something else that he was signed up for. But nonetheless, nostalgia's powerful and people love Scrubs, so I would not be surprised.
The cast has said that they would be willing to come back and for a special, something that would shoot for 3 months at a time, but not a full series, which shoots for 10.
Yeah, I feel like Zach Braff is constantly talking about wanting to work with Donald Faison again.
I mean, they did that commercial.
Best friends, so I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
They definitely did that cleaning commercial or whatever, Rocket Mortgage commercial.
Yep. Next up, Chrisley Knows Best stars Todd and his wife, Julie Chrisley, who, of course, before their reality show fame were Georgia real estate tycoons, were found guilty of conspiracy to defraud banks in more than $30 million in loans. USA, though, will still air the second half of season 9 of the show. So get ready for that shit show.
Yeah, that's technically one of the biggest news stories, but it's also reality TV. So
is this one of the weird ass garbage TV that Mark and Nicole watch?
I don't know. This is USA, so I don't think so.
Maybe
it's not HGTV.
Yeah, it's not 90 Day Fiance. Yeah. I don't know.
It's not TLC.
So I don't know if we have anybody we can ask about this, but yeah, this sounds ridiculous. So
yeah. What they did was just use their wealth to bully smaller banks to giving them loans. Like, hey, you know us from TV and our investment. We want more. We need more in loans so we can do this more investment, and then we'll pay you back and help grow your big. You know us. We're on TV.
Big nope. Big nope.
That's a big nope.
All right. Next up, the Lord of the Rings for the Amazon. The Lord of the Rings show for Amazon. I don't know why I keep saying the Amazon.
For the Amazon
rainforest. Has 5 seasons already planned out, with the final shot already pre-planned. So they have a story for that entire run, which is something that Game of Thrones did not. So they're already planning more than that show did.
Yeah. Well, it's easy when you have a completed book series, George R.R. Martin.
It is easy when you have a whole story to actually.
It's also very easy when you have a complete movie you're already working off Amazon.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, that still has yet to have a release date, but next year, I think.
But since they are doing the complete Lord of the Rings trilogy,
there's lots of content.
A lot of content. 2, 5 seasons. If they do 1 hour per episode, assuming a 10-episode schedule,
they'll get there.
That's 50 hours of content. I'm pretty sure they'll be able to get there and back again.
Ha! Good one. Nailed it. Let's move on. This is a bit of a follow-up bit from a story from a couple weeks ago. Seth Green has paid $300,000 to recover that stolen ape that he lost, that caused him to pause production of the television show that was going to star said ape. So yeah, it looks like this is what the world looks like with NFTs. Is that even if it gets stolen, you can just bribe somebody with money and they'll give it back.
You know what this means? I can steal that Bored Ape and get an easy $300,000.
Yes, exactly. Just get somebody to steal that ape.
Or just
There you
say, I've stolen your ape.
That's,
And maybe they'll believe it.
like, yes, the Media Boat Podcast is here, not necessarily advocating theft, but saying it would be really funny, wink, wink, if somebody, wink, wink, stole that ape again.
Is it stealing if I can't physically hold it? I mean, you wouldn't steal a movie, would you?
You wouldn't download
Load
a
a car.
Anyway.
Although Carvana now exists. So.
Right, I guess, yeah, no. You print a car, maybe.
3D print a car. Ooh.
Next up in the future edition, the future revised edition of Disney War, Disney CEO Bob Chapek has fired Chairman of Entertainment and Programming Peter Rice. A similar move to back in 2016 when Bob Iger dispatched COO Tom Staggs, and way back in '94 when Michael Eisner abruptly ousted Jeffrey Katzenberg. If you didn't see this, this is specifically someone who was basically spearheading Disney Plus programming.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting move considering that the studio made a massive pivot towards Disney Plus over the last calendar year. What this means for the future of Disney Plus seems unclear. Seemed like everything was going pretty well over there, so this is an unexpected move.
This is a move coming from CEO Bob Chapek and not the board members of Disney.
Right. So maybe it was there's personal beef involved
what?
Here?
You mean that a Disney CEO would fire someone because they may be threatening their job?
I mean, yes, this is, yes, you're making a good point.
Has this never happened before?
This is very reminiscent of the Katzenberg-Eisner feud, because when you think about it, not a whole lot of that was known outside of business circles. For the outside, 94 was the year of Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
To everyone watching Disney's films, you just thought, oh, yeah, no, Katzenberg's great because he made this happen. And The Lion King is the best performing movie of the box office all year. Like, how could he possibly be fired literally months later? And yet it happened. So, yeah, who knows what's happening under behind closed doors here?
Oh, no, that's exactly what's happening behind closed doors, because Bob Chapek has entered the final year of his contract without any renewal.
I see.
So the writing is on the wall for him, saying that he's made some. So Bob Chapek, I think we can easily say that we're not a fan of him.
I mean,
he's made some big missteps over the past couple of years.
Depends on who you ask, right? Though, because if you look at the big picture, again, for all the small missteps that they've made, obviously Rise of Skywalker is a big one. But for all the small things that have not worked out in their favor, they have Disney Plus, which is an absolute juggernaut, which is finally eating Netflix's lunch like they planned it.
Right, which is coming from Peter Rice, not from Bob Chapek, who made the big missteps of the Florida mishap stuff.
Yeah, that's the other half of this, is that in the same time that's happened, the parks have created political fissures in Florida that I don't know if they can recover from. I would not be surprised if we see a similar battle against the city of Anaheim, although the city of Anaheim has a lot on their plate right now when it comes to big owners of things.
Yes, they do.
We have not talked about it here on the sports
because there is no final section
on that
yet.
We're waiting for some sort of final
finality to that
kick to happen there. But regardless, it's a weird time to be Disney and a weird time to be Bob Chapek. You're right; he's done a lot of weird shit. But when the end of the day, they're still making money hand over fist on Disney Plus, and I think that maybe keeps his security. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. Like I said,
it's up to the board, right?
It's up to the board.
The board has to figure it out.
And the board is not giving Bob Chapek a vote of confidence.
Yeah.
And not necessarily a vote of no confidence either.
Right.
He's right now in this middle gray area where he's still the CEO, but they also haven't extended his contract, and he's literally on a month-to-month coming up here.
So we'll keep an eye out for that story and see what happens moving forward. Let's the last story is not necessarily a story, just a reminder. If you are a musical theater fan or love Broadway in all its forms, Tony Awards air tomorrow on CBS. I believe if you want to see the entirety of the Tonys, though, if you want to see some awards that are not presented on the CBS primetime show, you can download Paramount Plus and watch some footage there. So that will be tomorrow, Sunday the 12th. So just a nice little reminder for you live theater fans. All right, that will do it for the TV news this week. Now I cede my time to you because you have a lot of television thoughts to catch up on. Counting.
8. I have 8 thoughts here.
All right, let's roll.
All right. So,
a million little things. Wait, no.
A million little lies. Still continues to lie to everybody. And I don't know why everyone watches that show when you know everyone's lying to everybody.
But that's not what we're talking about.
I mean, I'd love to get into why I hate that show.
Yeah, but we're not.
But we don't have time for it.
We're talking about the one that show is ripping off.
Yes. This Is Us. The finale happened.
Yes, it's over.
The finale happened literally the week I was leaving, and then I can't talk about it for 2 weeks. So here we are, 2 weeks postmortem.
Yep.
Post finale of This Is Us.
Right.
And I feel like I should have talked about this when I was here.
Yeah. Did they
because that last finale episode, while it did stick the ending, was more or less about the future of these characters and not necessarily the journey that they've been on over the past years.
Okay.
Which is what that penultimate episode was.
So the second to last was their tying up loose ends. Then you have the epilogue.
Yes, that's basically what it was.
Right.
So I feel like I should have talked about it back then.
This is fine.
This is fine. But what This Is Us does great, and what it did.
Past tense.
Past tense. Damn, it died. You're right.
It's over. No more.
Yes. So this was us then.
Yeah. This is it.
No, this was it. This is all past tense now.
Yeah.
So this was us.
Uh-huh.
Was a great showcase in your life is not over at 35. Because that's
thank God.
Thank God.
3 more years. 3 more years.
Yep, it's coming up here. But that's where the show started at age where our 3 main characters celebrating their 35th birthday, and it was ostensibly the middle of a midlife crisis and not knowing where they're going with their life. And over the next 6 years, yes, the thing's been on for 6 years.
I believe it.
It shows that your life doesn't end at 35. There's not just some end goal like this is it. This is just where you're going to be for the rest of your life now. That you can pivot, you can make changes. No one knows what the hell is going to happen in the 6 years. It's why I really don't like that question interviewers ask.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself,
in 5 years? Like, God, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where I see myself for lunch today.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know what I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years. I mean, look back 5 years from us.
Yeah.
Do you think we're still going to be doing this 5 years?
Well, actually, I
maybe, yeah,
celebrate
probably.
my 5th year at this company in November. So yes, I actually do know what I was doing 5 years ago. This shit.
Yes.
Anyways,
but yeah, that's part of the thing is that This Is Us is that microcosm of just 5, 6 years that you don't know where life is going to take you. You don't know what's going to happen within your life. You don't know the boundaries, the changes, the constant like surprises that life throws at you. Not just like external, but also like internal, like how you feel, stuff that happens within you, within your family. Within your friend circle even. Mm-hmm. And it's a great microcosm for what life is, not just like growing up in like the 70s, like the life lessons that you learn as kids and just you generally learn as kids as well, but more so how those life lessons shape and mold the people you eventually become. It is of note that the last episode of this has scenes that were shot 4 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Very similar to what How I Met Your Mother did, where they shot the ending years before.
Right.
Because they knew how they wanted to end this. And they literally had to do it because the kids that they used definitely grew up and aged out of that when they were.
Yeah. So funny.
So they have the ending in the can for like the 1970s, 80s version of the kids. But you know how pivotal that scene is and how that translates to where they are now and how the creators and showrunners wanted this to end. Like when they said, oh, we know how this is going to end and we already have a finale, so we're only going to get a 3-year deal and not just drag this on. They knew what they were doing. And this is a show I want to come back to. I'm going to give some time to breathe, but it's a show that I want to come back to. It's a show that I want to come back to with other people as well.
Cool.
It's really good. Even though it was hour longs, watching on streaming does make it go by a whole lot faster. I will say
Yeah, I
that.
bet.
So you're also not waiting week to week. Oh no, what happens? But also, goddamn teary. I give Mandy Moore that Emmy for lead actress. She deserves it.
Yeah.
Goddamn, make me teary eyed. TV mom.
TV mom.
She's the glue that holds that thing together.
I do like Mandy Moore.
And yes, that Mandy Moore.
Yes, that Mandy Moore.
But yeah, This Is Us, really good, really powerful ending.
Cool.
I might put it on my end of the year list because it did stick the landing here. But we'll see with these other shows that
The Lord of the Rings treatment. Like, I didn't award it the previous years, but it's over now.
But I keep talking about it, so I can remember for its finality.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yep.
What else?
Other stuff that had finale that I can talk about now.
Yeah.
The Flight Attendant also had its finale.
Yes, HBO Max.
HBO Max. The Flight Attendant. I don't have anything new to say about that.
Yeah, you seemed like you were a little less hot on season whatever.
Season 2.
Season 2.
It did get better, but I don't know if the twist ending was enough of a twist ending or is it just, well, we need a twist ending.
Yeah.
Especially when, like, some of the stuff that they purposely did is like, wait, you're the bad guy the whole time? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like, in an overall whole narrative purpose, I get. But from the story that you told us, it doesn't make sense. It feels like it's coming out of left field. And that part is what I don't like about The Flight Attendant.
Okay.
Is that because they purposely set up the first several episodes to be solely about Kaylee Cuoco's character trying to solve this mystery, to be like, oh, by the way, the final episode, we're going to give you the big shocking twist ending and basically explain, tell, not show,
right,
like how all this came to be, is really weird and dumb, and I don't like it. So, talking about not sticking the landing there,
yeah.
I really don't want to see a third season here. I think that if they do a third season, it's going to be just another mess of, oh no, she's caught up in another conspiracy. Maybe she's right, maybe she's not. Oh wait, she is right the whole time, but we can't really let on to that, and it's cynical.
Sure.
But if you're going to be on HBO Max, you might as well watch Hacks while you're at it, because season 2 is amazing.
We're still getting through it. I haven't finished it yet, but don't worry, you can do spoilers if you want. But yeah, so far so good.
So you're on season 1 or season 2?
We're still on season 2.
Okay. So season 2, they're on the road.
Yeah.
They're crafting the new set list, the new jokes. They're, while also in the background being veiled of being Sue. So it's like the love-hate relationship of a mom-daughter. But even though she's not her mom,
not really
her mom,
not
and she
related.
also has her daughter.
Right.
I like season 2 a lot because both of the characters were more proactive in chasing a goal rather than the first season where it was just the writer character chasing the goal of trying to make it in Hollywood, trying to make it as a writer, and Gene Smart's character as trying to go off on a bang. Here in season 2, I like that they did that. They were on the bus because it meant everything is constantly moving. There is no standstill. Everyone is constantly moving to the new goal. Everyone is constantly moving to their own goals. And that was a really smart move to just show it both visually showing it, but also in the writing that we're going to get there. And this is the bus actually getting there.
Right.
It's a really smart writing tactic that I praise the showrunners for doing.
Cool.
And they definitely stick the finale. Although I will say, if they end it here, I would not be surprised because it's a damn good finale. Okay. Everyone ends, spoilers, on a high note, on a happy note.
Sure, that's good.
It's essentially a sitcom.
Dramedy.
Dramedy.
But yeah.
There's enough jokes in there to make it a comedy.
Yeah. I'll wrap it up pretty soon. We're getting there. Christy watches in the mornings while I'm working. Yeah. But so far so good. It's really good writing. Just really great writing.
Yeah.
See this in the Emmys next year, I'm sure.
I mean, it wasn't the Emmys last year.
All right.
do you mean see it?
It'll
See
be
it back.
It will be back, is what I mean.
Oh, it'll be back. And
Alright.
yeah, well, I've actually caught up and actually watched it this time
Yes.
instead of waiting for the Emmys to tell us to watch it. All right. And lastly, in season finales, remember when I talked about the end game on NBC?
Yeah, what the hell is that? Again?
That was the bank robbing thing.
Yeah, right. It's
Where I made a statement that I
Yeah.
could watch the first 2 episodes, skip the whole season,
Uh-huh.
watch the last episode, and still get everything I needed to out of the show.
And you did?
And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened.
Also, this thing is done. It's canceled, so this will be it for the end game.
Oh,
The end game for the end game.
but it didn't want to be canceled.
No.
Because they show off the very, I would say cheesy, but very
yeah.
twist ending of, wait, please don't cancel us. We're going to shoot this one thing just so, like, if we do get uncanceled or supported somewhere else, we have somewhere to go. We don't just wrap everything up in a very nice, neat bow.
Exactly.
So, yeah, watching the first 2 episodes and then watching the last episode, it unravels the entire mystery of why everyone is where they are. I still do not buy the whole through line of a single person planning every single step of this all the way through,
Sure.
especially at the very end where they're looking up like 2 different churches to go to. It's like, which one do we go to? You take that one, I'll take this one. I'm like, okay, cool. But I know it's really going to be the one you're going to because you're pro tag.
Yeah.
And so they're obviously going to show up there. So
Obviously.
you're making the right call. And I don't know why the other guy doesn't just like realize that. Like, you know, you've been right about everything. So the one you pick, we're both going to go there because you've been right about everything the whole time. And there's no way that I'm just going to show up and like be the unsung hero here. I should just go with you. Like someone's in the FBI clearly not paying attention for the whole season of this thing.
Oh my god. Well, didn't say it was realistic.
Oh, it's definitely not realistic, especially when you pull off the "I had a sister the whole time" ending.
Sure.
Oh, but it also does the thing that it kind of wanted to do the whole time because it was a la like the Blacklist,
Mhm.
where I need your help, and then end.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, if they did a season 2, she'd have to help her. Or would she? Because she's the good guy and she's the bad guy.
But it doesn't matter because they're not making more.
It doesn't matter. But, you know, if we were to get a second season somewhere, here's where we would go. But you're
Yeah.
never going to get it.
No, I think it's done.
No, it's done.
Oh well.
The whole plot itself was essentially done because it required on so many extra steps to happen that if one step faltered, then just the whole thing like crumbles, especially in the beginning, where it's like, oh, we have to defuse this bomb. If we don't defuse the bomb, we're all going to die.
Mhm.
Well, what happens if they didn't defuse the bomb and they all died? Literally nothing else after that would have mattered. Nothing else after that could have happened because your main character died. You couldn't have gotten any other information now because they were pertaining to her. So if she died in that first one, you're like, oh shit, she died? Well, I don't have a backup plan because my main character, who I pinned all of this happening around, is no longer around
Mm.
to solve any more of these puzzles and riddles and mysteries.
Yeah. Don't know. No clues.
Yeah. So yeah, the end game was pretty bad.
Well, yeah. Well, good riddance.
Good riddance.
What else do you got?
Before I move into Disney Plus shows,
Yeah.
well, we're gonna talk about one Amazon show that came back.
Right. Yeah.
The Boys,
Season 3.
Season 3. It's out right now. 4 episodes are up.
Are they still dem boys?
Oh, they them boys, and they're still doing stuff. I know it's based on comics. I know
Yeah.
there's precedent for this,
Yeah.
but the whole point of The Boys is taking the superhero genre and saying,
right.
yeah, but what if they were all dicks to each other?
But if this was realistic,
What if this more realistic?
What if
What if this
people
was
were
super
terrible?
like narcissistic, like
yeah.
actual terrible people, like actually had superpowers?
Mhm.
And we've known that for season 1. We've known that for season 2. Here we are in season 3, and they're just being more terrible to each other and just to everyone around them. But somehow I can't stop watching. It's that train.
Yeah,
it's not
train
even a
wreck,
train
yeah.
wreck because it's not like bad TV. It's good TV about bad people.
But you're watching these train wreck people
Yes.
slowly destroy themselves.
And it's hilarious because a lot of stuff that they're pointing to and hinting at and winking and nodding
Yeah.
is pointing, nodding, and winking to like the past 10 years of the MCU. Like, hey,
Yeah.
remember when like they had a dispute? Well, here's how like we're gonna handle that exact same dispute. Remember how like there was like the contract negotiations over there and how we weren't sure if like this person like really hated this person. Well, here's how we're actually gonna do that here.
Right.
Remember like how this person like had like that kind of one
Because they know
that
who's-
one celebrity thing that happened to them.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna play it over here, but like
Yeah.
blow it up because that's what they do.
They know who's watching this show.
Oh,
They
yeah.
know that the people who are watching the show are knowledgeable about the wider world of how those superhero movies get made.
Mhm.
And so they're playing off of it. I think it's a good idea. Do I want to watch something like this? Absolutely not. But I get why it exists. Because with every super popular thing in pop culture, there's always a thing that's commenting on it.
Yes.
Oh, forever. That's always been the thing. For every Star Wars, there's a Spaceballs. Like
Yep.
the balance exists for this reason, and so that's the purpose of The Boys.
And I think they get away with a lot of shit on it because it is on Amazon.
Nobody's checking that.
No one's checking their notes like, oh, yeah, this is Amazon. They can do whatever the hell they want
Yeah.
because Jeff Bezos money.
Well, yeah, he's not even there anymore.
Not
Yet
even there
still,
anymore. Yes.
somehow, it's Jeff Bezos money. But yeah,
But yeah,
But it's
the
still what
Boys
it
is
is.
there. It's season 3. I've said this after every year. I don't know where they're going to go, but at some
Okay.
point, I'm going to keep watching
you'll
it.
figure it out. I'm
They'll
sure.
figure it out. They'll find something new to comment on, and it's just going to be another like chaos thing.
Yeah.
I like what they're doing though, is that they're trying to bring in more like the backstory of the bot company and like everything that goes into like how they amassed their popularity into what it is now.
Mhm.
I do like that, but then again, I could also handle that in season 2. I could also handle that in season 1.
Sure.
Do I need it in season 3 now? Do I need more in depth in season 3 right now? I don't know. It's kind of going to was it 911 territory
Mm.
where like when I started talking about how they were getting into all the other side characters and all their backstories. It's kind of the same thing here. So they're doing it season 3 rather than season 5.
Sure.
I think that's because they don't know if they're going to get a season 4.
Yeah.
So might as well get it in now, especially since they have comic book lore to base all of this off of.
Right. Well, we'll see what they do.
We'll see what they do.
Moving on, Disney Plus.
Moving on to Disney Plus, 3 things I watched.
Yeah.
2 series, 1 special. So first one I teased way back when, like 3 weeks ago, when it was coming out. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
I had little to zero hope that this thing would be a success. I do not understand the purpose of it because
Sure.
Obi-Wan is supposed to be a hermit.
Yeah, this is supposed to fill in the blank between the first and second.
Yes. And therein lies my problem with the series.
Yeah.
Because it's Obi-Wan's story from a certain point of view.
Sure.
And that's my problem with Obi-Wan as a character, is that everything that happens just within this series, but the lore that happens, that has been built around him past past the original Star Wars film, has always been, well, we need to rewrite this character to be a badass because he can't just be the old curmudgeon, like Jedi wizard that we know him to eventually be. We need to build like this super epic, cool backstory, and then explain kind of, which is what the trilogy did. Like he was this really great, cool
Yeah.
Jedi Knight, but somehow he transformed into a hermit, and that's what this story tells. But there's the caveat in it of, well, if he's a hermit, how does Princess Leia know about him?
Yeah.
And how does she know to send him
Right.
the Death Star plans?
Yes. There has to
Because
be a connection.
There has to be a connection there. And that's what Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series, is following.
She's trying to do.
It's
Yeah.
establishing that connection of why is Leia saying, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my
Uh-huh.
only hope.
Right. Does it do that successfully?
Well, the series isn't over.
Oh, it's not over yet. Okay.
It's only 4 episodes in out of 6 episodes.
Okay, got it.
But so far, I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
But it does do the thing that it does bridge the gap between episode 3 and episode 4.
Sure.
And it does bridge the gap of Obi-Wan knows that they're twins. Obi-Wan knows that he's looking after the boy and that there's a girl out there. But he's explicitly, through episode 4, never tells him that he has a sister. Like, he's purposely keeping the secret. I have a feeling that we're going to get to that why at the end of the season of why he doesn't tell him. But that's always something that's bugged a lot of Star Wars fans, especially like since episode 7 came out. I was like, oh, like from a certain point of view, he did die to me, even though I know he was alive and your father the whole time, and I was basically fighting your father as you were trying to run away. I knew you were right. Like, it was a family reunion in episode 4, but I purposely kept all of you away from each other.
Yeah, there has to be a reason for him to act like that.
Yes.
Yeah, this has to establish why.
This has to establish that why.
A lot of baggage for this thing going into it.
Yes, that's why I had zero to little hope that this thing could actually be as good.
But I'm glad that it seems like it's okay, doing all right with it.
Oh, it's doing all right because of the main antagonist, the third sister.
Okay.
I want to get her name right. I actually do want to give her a shout out too, because she's doing such a good job in this thing. Just Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, Vivian Lyra-Blair.
Okay.
She is playing third sister, the essentially antagonist of this, even though yes, Darth Vader is in this. But she is. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, Vivian Lyra-Blair is the child, not the antagonist. She's Leia. She's doing great. No, sorry, Moses Ingram. That's who I'm thinking of. She is fantastic as the antagonist in this thing.
Okay.
That's right. She was in Queen's Gambit. That's where I've seen her in. Yeah, no, she is fantastic in this thing. She plays the main antagonist, third sister. When this came out, there's a lot of hate because Star Wars fans just, for some reason or another, tend to skew toward the racist side of stuff. For some reason or another. I don't know. In a galaxy filled of like different races, why would you pick on the one race?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Honestly.
Then again, you can say the same thing about of all the people on Earth, why do you pick on the one race?
Exactly. You can say that a lot.
Say that about a lot of things.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, she's actually doing a really good job here. Cool. She's actually killing it. I want to see her more stuff.
Cool.
I hope that she's able to spin this off into more like theatrical roles and away from.
Apparently she was in The Tragedy of Macbeth.
Apparently she's also in Ambulance.
Oh, Ambulance.
Yes, with Michael Bay this year. So yeah, I want to see more of her.
All right.
She's a good actress.
I bet you will.
I bet I will. She's gonna be so in like 2 months from now. What?
Sorry, she's on several IMDb lists of ladies with guys' names, female actors with masculine sounding names.
Yes.
It's very funny to me. Anyway.
Well, yeah, Moses.
yeah, I'll do it.
Anyways, yeah. In like 2 months from now, after the series is over, expect her to be like, oh, she's signed up for this role and this role and this role and this role. But yeah, Kenobi surprisingly doing a whole lot better. But then again, I may have had tempered expectations because of Boba Fett.
Sure.
So, really like Obi-Wan. Really hoping they stick the landing here.
Cool.
But as I've mentioned, as a Star Wars fan, this has to at least end somewhere in Episode 4. Or at least somehow
set that up.
So that
makes sense.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Well, we'll see if they can do it.
Yep.
In the meantime,
a new Marvel show has come out. Speaking of the two big arms of Disney.
This is why I thought Obi-Wan was over, because I was like, why would they cross over these two things? But I guess they did.
But yeah, they did. And Miss Marvel is out, and
yes,
this is a show. I don't know if I was excited for it. I mean, I liked it. I like the idea of it because it goes Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, and heavily skews into that Kamala Khan character.
Oh yeah, they know what the show they're making here.
Well, it helps when your directors and showrunners are of Middle Eastern descent.
Right.
that they're basically taking the source material, making it their own, but also making it a fans show.
Yeah.
Because in the comic books, Kamala Khan is a fan of the Avengers before she becomes and joins the Avengers as Miss Marvel.
So my understanding about this character is fairly limited, but what I do know
She
does
is
make
a
me
fairly
want to.
new character.
But what I do know makes me want to watch this because it's an interesting concept, right? Yeah, she's almost described as like a fangirl who happens to stumble into becoming a superhero herself.
Yes.
Then also recently, that Avengers video game leaned heavily on this. She was the protagonist of the story mode there.
Yeah, of Marvel's Avengers for Crystal Dynamics.
And turned out to be the only thing people liked about that game.
Yes.
The free, like the live game stuff, totally like no one really melded with it, but everybody had the same thing to say, which is the stuff they're doing with the story, specifically with Ms. Marvel, was the best part. And so Christy and I had this on our list. We haven't watched it yet, but we do plan on watching this.
Oh, so it's only one episode out.
Sure.
But this first episode is a fan-made, fan episode. Everything that you want to see, like as a fan, that you want wink and nod in reference to, is in this episode. And that's not just because the first episode is literally going to a fan convention.
That's fun.
But also that it's like wink and nod, like it's at Camp Lively, which was Captain America's birthplace, and then they play homage to that. And then there's a bunch of like other like Comic-Con-esque events, like a cosplay show and dress up in contest. And
that's fun.
And because I'm like, as I've said on this podcast before, somewhere in me is like that middle school kid that just loves the middle school drama stuff.
Sure.
And that's what this is. Because it's not just Kamala Khan finding out that she has powers and like how to grapple with it, but also that she's a kid growing up in New Jersey from an essentially very easy to say religious and traditional background, and how that is going to clash immediately with new and upcoming, basically becoming a superhero and accepting of Western culture.
Yeah, I think she's an interesting character, and I think that's an interesting angle to come at because, yes, I know on the show we talked about a lot how like fandom, the oppressive nature, just how it's everywhere now of fandom can be overwhelming in a lot of cases. But I'm not saying that it's bad as a whole. There's a dark side to it, and we do talk about that a lot because that's where a lot of these stories come from. Is the worst that fans are like forcing studios to
Obi-Wan
do things.
Kenobi.
Exactly, forcing studios to do things. Studios like serving to the worst and the most vocal of the fans. But Ms. Marvel as a character and this whole part of the Marvel universe is interesting as like a reminder. It's a good fandom can be a powerful and good thing sometimes if you view it from a good angle. Like I think that the story that they're telling of a minority person of color, someone of a non-Christian religion, that angle is so unique and describes a part of fandom that we don't talk about. The fandom that can inspire, the fandom that can empower. And she as a character represents that side of it in an interesting way. So I feel like the fact that the show nails that tone is really good news. Because I think that with the more cynical portrayal, you would just attract, I don't know, say the audience for The Boys instead.
Yes.
Like it's coming at the same thing, but from a completely different place. It's not cynical. It's saying, no, this person, they're living their potential. They're seeing their life empowered by these stories and these or for them, for her, the real people that she looks up to, which is something that I think translates well to an experience that we don't talk about a lot when we talk about fandom. So I think it's neat. I think it's cool that they're doing this as a Disney Plus show and get more eyeballs on this character in the story.
And it also allows the character to grow. So when the character does appear in the upcoming The Marvels, which is due out later this year in November, still no trailer for it, by the way.
They're working on it.
Well, you know, they're too busy promoting Thor right now.
Right, yeah, one at a time.
One at a time. But yeah, I'm excited for Ms. Marvel. This first episode knocked it out of the park.
Cool.
Caveat, not of the show, but of Rotten Tomatoes. It is getting review bombed.
Well,
and stop it.
Because
I hate it.
those people, same Star Wars fans, you know, that are bombing that. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like, oh, like if you look at it, it's like, oh, why like all the critics like it, but the
Yeah.
fans hate it? No,
The
it's just a review,
fans
man.
hate it. Giant air quotes. So,
Yes, no, it's a great show. It's a great start to a show. I want to see more where this is going.
Sure.
I hate that it's a weekly basis because I want more of this. Yeah, I just want more of it.
All right.
But yeah, love Miss Marvel, and even like the first opening 10 minutes of it basically explains why these characters like Kamala Khan, like
Yeah.
Carol Danvers, need to exist, because it's showing, as you said,
Yeah.
showing that representation that there are people and there are kids out there who see not just their representation, but can see themselves on the big screen
Yes.
and look up to them and be inspired by them.
Representation matters. It's true.
Yep.
All right. Last and probably least.
Last and probably least, on Disney Plus right now, you can watch Beyond Infinity: Buzz and the Journey to Lightyear. It's the behind-the-scenes story to get you geared up for Lightyear coming out next week. Actually,
This week. This coming Friday.
This upcoming Friday.
This coming Friday. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this movie. So I don't really know if I care about a special about it.
Well, it does go behind the scenes of like how they created Buzz,
Sure.
and then like that's the first half. The second half is like the stuff that they did to create Lightyear.
Mhm.
And the director of Lightyear was the character animator and for Buzz Lightyear's on Toy Story 2 and 3.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So he's the guy who basically John Lasseter and Dan Scallion basically deferred to in asking what would Buzz Lightyear do here?
Yeah.
Like how would he react? What's his like
That's-
emotions,
that's
his
cool.
movement?
Yeah.
That guy is directing this
That's
film.
good. That's good. Speaking of the elephant in the room, how much Lasseter talk is there? Because I feel like they've tried very hard to sweep that man under the rug.
Oh, they definitely swept him under the rug here.
Okay.
Because they bring him in. They don't even bring him in as an interview. They just say this was John
Yeah, you
Lasseter
have
talking to him
mention it,
about
yeah,
Toy Story.
Right.
But for the most part, it's everyone else who became the executive
That's
producer,
good.
the working team, the brain trust of Pixar,
That's good.
and only give John Lasseter that like maybe 2 minutes
Yeah.
when they're talking specifically about Toy Story and the
The
big impact
history
that
of the
is.
franchise.
Yeah.
Does this make you any more excited for the film, or where you were already on it?
It does not make me more excited to go see it in the theater, which is the only place you can watch it.
Yeah. Whatever. I don't know. The trailers give me it doesn't feel like a Pixar movie. It doesn't feel like a Pixar move. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel like a creative enough idea, to me at least, for this story.
So here's my big thing about it. Lightyear is the film event that gets
Right.
Andy to have a Buzz Lightyear themed birthday.
Also, you have to like jump through so many mental hoops to think that, wait, so this had to have come. This is a movie
That
that
came out
existed
in
to Andy,
1995.
but had to come out before 95. So wait, because Andy is CG movies are live action to him.
Yes.
There's so many things you have to do, which is what I'm saying. This feels so un-Pixar.
Not just that, but Buzz Lightyear in this film has to be the main character
Yeah.
to come out of this, that you not only want to buy the Buzz Lightyear toy,
Right.
but that everything around you is Buzz Lightyear and not filled with the other characters or reference the other characters in, say, the Buzz Lightyear animated series.
Yeah, that's right. They've absolutely forgotten that existed. They've thrown that whole thing out the window.
Well, it's not just that, but it's the fact that all your side characters in here, aside from Zurg, must not matter in
Right.
this film,
Somehow they've got forgotten.
because there are 0 toys
Right.
of them in the Pixar in the Toy Story universe.
Yeah.
That the only toys are of Buzz Lightyear and
Lightyear.
Zurg.
Yeah.
So every other character, for some reason or another, must not be that important to warrant their own toy.
it's the Obi-Wan problem again,
Yes.
where this thing has so much baggage going into it, because this movie has to establish all of the things, the lines that the toy Buzz Lightyear says,
Yes.
because this has to be the thing it's based on, right?
And those lines can't just be throwaway lines. They have to be the impactful lines that make you want to put it on a toy.
It's ridiculous. ridiculous. It just, like I said, it feels so un-Pixar because Pixar would not write themselves into a corner like this. They would be more like creative about
It
it.
doesn't feel more like a Pixar film. It feels more like, okay, we need to make a checklist of
Right.
here's everything that makes Buzz Lightyear that people like would make a toy about.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems unnecessary, but who knows? Maybe it's good. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I'll probably watch it when it comes to Disney Plus, but I will not be going to a theater for it. That's for sure.
You already went to the theater for an animated film.
It's true. We talked about that last week.
Yep.
All right. Anything else television we need to talk about before we can finally move on?
As mentioned, all finales are done. It's now summer TV.
Yeah.
Game show season.
Yep.
So
the thoughts will probably cool down.
Thoughts are going to cool down a whole lot until
Yeah.
we get ramped up back in
The fall.
September, in the fall.
So we'll see. All right, let's move on to cancellations and renewals then.
All right. What am I no longer watching?
No longer watching, or no, you're continuing to watch American Rust on Freevee because it got renewed for a second season.
I think that used to be on Showtime, but that's
Ah.
going to Amazon Freevee. Yep.
Inside Job, that's the animated conspiracy show, will get a second season on Netflix,
This is separate from the part 2 season,
Right.
part 2 of season 1,
which has yet to release.
which is yet to release.
Masters of the Universe Revelation will get a second season on Netflix. The Summer I Turned Pretty will get a second season of Prime Video. I believe that is before season 1 starts. It's based on a young adult novel, which is the reason why I know that. Perks of dating a librarian. The Long Slow Exhale
Haha.
canceled after one season on Spectrum. I didn't know that existed. I just wanted an excuse to do a Long Slow Exhale.
Yeah, Weird Spectrum still doing
Original content.
original content, especially when they canceled that Buddy
Yeah.
Cop show.
Right. Tokyo Vice will get a second season on HBO Max. What We Do in the Shadows will get a sixth season on FX. Hell yes.
I think it's on its 4th season, so it's going to get a 5th and
yes,
6th.
renewed for 2. All of Us Are Dead gets a second season on Netflix. I don't know how you can do that. All of them are dead.
So, zombies?
Oh. Raised by Wolves canceled after 2 seasons on HBO Max. And Legends of the Hidden Temple, the reboot, canceled after 1 season on the CW. Christy was gutted by this. She wanted to try out.
I want to say that's because it was the CW and they're
Yeah.
part of the trimming of the
Everything's
fat.
getting axe over there.
Yep.
Let's move on out of television and into the movies. We start the movie section, as always, with the weekend box office numbers. And big headline this week was Top Gun Maverick is your number 1 movie. Again, but with the smallest drop from week 1 to week 2 of all time. $90 million, putting it total to $295 million.
What did it have last time? Like 110?
Yeah, like 120 or something like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, like this is a huge deal. Just goes to show you that it's a strong release right now in kind of a desert of releases.
We'll talk about Top Gun Maverick in a
will.
little bit here.
Number 2, Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, still here holding on with $9 million. That's at $388 domestic. Bob's Burgers movie, number 3, $4.6 million, adding to a $22 million total. The Bad Guys at number 4, $3.3 million, $87 million. And number 5, Downton Abbey: A New Era, still around, $3.1 million, adding to a $35 million domestic total.
If all that sounded familiar, that's
Yep.
because the top 5 didn't change. Just
Yes.
4 and 5 swapped places.
Number 6, if you're wondering, just your weekly Everything Everywhere All at Once look, $2 million, that's at 60, even.
I'm probably going to stop the
Domestic.
count there because
Yeah.
it hit 60.
It did it.
It did it.
And then debuting this week, way down at number 11, Watcher with $826,000. Not even $1 million.
Not even $1 million. It said wide release. I don't
Yeah.
know why, but
Still around.
it's still there.
Upcoming this week, I'll talk about this week's release as well as the coming week's releases because I didn't have upcoming releases last week on this document.
Yeah, you did.
Friday, maybe I skipped it. Friday, we saw a release of Block Party and Jurassic World Dominion.
Mhm.
Jurassic World, of course, being that big release this week. Very curious about what they do. That cliffhanger after the last one really keeps me curious. So
Depends on who you talk about, word of mouth. Who knows?
we'll see.
We'll see.
And then next week, as we mentioned, this coming Friday, the 17th, will be Lightyear and nothing else. So there you
Everything
go.
else got out of the way for it.
Let's move on into movie news. Just a couple of quickies for you before we get into more thoughts. We start with the Oscars celebrating Pride. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences is stepping out for LGBTQ pride. Variety can exclusively report that and us, I guess, that the Academy will march for the first time in the Los Angeles Pride Parade on June 12th in Hollywood. A giant Oscar statuette will be along for the ride on a specially designed trolley. Quote, "We're proud and excited that the Academy will participate in the LA Pride March this year for the first time," says Academy Vice President of Impact and Operations, Janelle English, in a statement. "Our presence this weekend at the parade helps foster our goal of creating and sustaining an inclusive, safe film community where our LGBTQ plus employees, Academy members, and artists around the world are visible, engaged, and valued." The theme for the Academy's participation is "The future of film is inclusive." So this, of course, along with a lot of company statements right now as we go into June Pride Month. So no super surprises here. Of course, and I'm going to say what I always do. Put your money where your mouth is.
Yep.
Work towards actual inclusivity. Make sure it actually is represented in your Academy, in your awards, and in your movies. And maybe we'll talk.
And don't just change your tone when 7-1 comes around.
Right, exactly. Don't put a rainbow on your logo on Twitter. Anyway,
do more than just putting.
Not just that.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, as we've established here for many recording artists, do better.
Do better. All right, let's move on to our second story. Little in the works notes about projects that are happening in the background.
Yep. So because we are in the middle of summer, stuff is actually shooting.
Yes.
But stuff is getting in pre-production on the way for stuff to start shooting in December.
Yes. Among those projects, Joker, the sequel, with Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix returning. So if you didn't already have enough Joker, well, they're doing it again.
Specifically the Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips version.
Joker, the movie called Joker. Duke Nukem. You remember Duke Nukem?
I remember
video game fame.
I remember the legendary Duke Nukem Forever. Took literally forever.
He is all out of, he loves kicking ass and chewing bubblegum. He's all out of bubblegum. And he has a movie in development at Legendary Pictures with the Cobra Kai directors, or creators at least, attached.
They will be writing the script. No word that they will be directing as well.
All right, cast Duke Nukem. Who's Duke Nukem in the movie?
John Cena.
I was just going to say John Cena is the easy, obvious answer. I can't see anybody else in the role, but I'd be interested to see who they get, because if it's not John Cena, then you have to really do some creative casting here. But yes, John Cena is easy for this.
You just put him up against Dwayne Johnson as the villain.
Oh, that'd be good.
Just do that.
Yeah, just do that.
Just get people. Let people watch it.
I mean, nobody cares about the actual character or story of the Duke Nukem game, so you can do anything you want with the Duke Nukem character.
That's why you make those two follow each other. You get Dwayne Johnson playing the villain. Mm-hmm. Only thing is that it has to be set in the jungle and he has to wear a white T-shirt.
Yeah.
But other than that,
he has to have balls of steel.
Yeah, but other than that, you cast John Cena. He's a rising, huge, hulky star.
I'm gonna get you, The Rock. All right, let's move on. John St. John impression. Let's move on. Jordan Peele's Monkey Paw Productions has picked up the psychological horror pitch, Goat. Is this a psychological horror movie about a goat?
I want to say it's about Tom Brady, but yet I don't know.
That'd be way better. No, I don't know what this is.
No one knows what this is. It was a closed blind meeting. That's all we get is just the title and just that Monkey Paw Productions picking it up. Jordan Peele will not be directing. It'll be produced through his Monkey Paw Productions, much in the same way that was Candyman was his as well.
Yeah, was he involved in that? Probably.
Either that or Blumhouse.
I think it was Candyman because that makes sense.
Yeah,
but yeah,
same way where he was producer, not director.
Right. Okay. And then lastly, in these bits, Jake Schreier has signed on to direct Thunderbolts film for Marvel. So a couple things. Where do I know Jake Schreier from? And two, who are the Thunderbolts?
One, Jake Schreier is from the 2012 film The Robot and I, or Bob and the Robot.
I don't remember
with
that
Frank Langella.
Oh, geez.
He's directed a bunch of TV stuff since then.
Okay.
This will be his first feature since.
And who are the Thunderbolts?
The Thunderbolts are the ragtag group of not Suicide Squad, but Suicide Squad related to Marvel,
okay.
where they're anti-heroes. They're the bad guys. But
right.
when a gray area event is called,
Sure.
they're the people you send in because they're good, but they need to do bad stuff, but they're also good.
All right. So they're literally the Suicide Squad for Marvel.
Exactly.
Okay. That's all I need to know.
It is of note that the Thunderbolt is supposed to be in essence of Thunderbolt Ross, who was played by John Hurt, who recently passed away.
Oh, so you have to recast that role at least.
You may or may not have to recast the role because you can just say that this was his dying legacy.
Right.
There's
everybody else.
And this is everyone else. And you just have the name because he was the one who put it together.
Got it. Okay.
Or had the plan to have all these different people come together.
Fair enough. All right, cool. And then that'll do it for movie news. So that means it is time for you to go through these movie thoughts. You have a lot. Let's try to keep it brief.
I have 9 thoughts. We're already at the 2-hour mark.
All right, let's get going then.
So, first up, we're going to do a lot of catch up here because some of the stuff came out last year
delicious
or earlier
ketchup.
this year.
All right.
So first up, Sing 2.
Yeah, the sequel.
This came
late
out
last year, right?
Late. This is like a Christmas release, so finally able to watch it. I liked Sing 1 except for the ending.
Oh yeah, God.
I hated the ending,
I was
but
just
I like the
complaining
concept
about
of
that
Sing.
stupid Seth MacFarlane mouse to my family the other day.
Oh, well, we have to know there's 0 Seth MacFarlane mouse in Sing 2.
Thank God. I'm not gonna watch this, but thank God.
I actually really liked Sing 2.
Really?
I liked it a whole lot better than I liked Sing 1.
Okay.
But then again, I think it's because Sing 1 established all the characters already, so I didn't need to get any of the backstories.
You don't need the stupid jail shit with the gorilla. You don't need any of that.
Yeah,
stuff.
you don't need any of the why don't these people like to perform or know how to perform.
Yeah.
You already got past that.
Cool.
So
good.
Sing 2 sends them as a troupe now to Vegas-inspired city to try and create a Vegas-inspired show.
All right.
So what I like a lot about Sing 2 is that it's all that background production stuff that I really like and get into, and not necessarily the front of house we're singing and putting on a show together. It's we have a show, we have an act, we're trying to put it together, but we're also trying to get the big guest finale of Bono, essentially the lion.
Sure. Yes, that guy.
He plays the lion. So trying to get Bono out of retirement. There's a lot of interesting stuff within Sing 2, but none of it actually hits. It's we want to tell a story about retirement and coming out of retirement, but we also want a story about love and new love and getting into this. We also want a story about when production and CEOs, executive producers, meddle in things. But we also want to. But all of this pales in comparison to the one thing that I didn't like about the first Sing, and they did here at Sing 2, which is Matthew McConaughey's koala bear character, Buster Moon, saying, I'm going to lie to everybody, and hopefully it pays off in the end.
Yeah. Ugh.
And that's exactly what happens here in Sing 2. I'm going to lie to everybody that I'm able to get this famous guy, but I have no idea if I can pull it off. And somehow, because I'm the main character, I'm going to pull it off.
He doesn't learn anything.
He doesn't learn anything from the first movie.
See, now I definitely won't watch
Sing 2 is.
Because that's so frustrating. Because that's the thing, that's the problem with that I have with Illumination.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like everything they do, at least everything they've done since the first Despicable Me, they didn't even manage to do this in Despicable Me 2. For some reason, every single movie they put out after Despicable Me has the same stupid problem in it.
No one learns their lesson from the first movie.
No one learns their lesson. The character arc, they just assume oh, well, you like this character, right? They don't have to have an arc where they learn something. It's no, that's storytelling. You have to have them learn something by the end of it. Because otherwise, I don't care. And then the other thing is that they bite off way too much. They try to tell all this ensemble story.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the reasons why I didn't like Sing 1. It's you can't have all these stories going at once. We're going to get Love Actually. We're going to be wait a minute, what? Okay, now we're here. All right, now and this all comes together. How? Somehow, they try so much. I don't know who their movies are for.
So
it's too complicated for kids.
Kids for short attention spans, where they're going to care about the character because they're on screen. and they care about the character because they're on screen.
But it's
They
like
care
it's,
about the character because it's on screen,
I guess, but
and completely forget about like what they're doing off screen.
it's just so complicated. But the actual story that they're telling are always way too complicated for kids. But they're so stupid that the adults don't care either. So I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't know. This is me saying I have real worries about the Super Mario Brothers movie. But we'll get that when we
We'll get to that when we cross that bridge.
But yeah,
but I did like the music choices in here.
sure.
If
I
that's
just
a
wish
one
that that's
strike
what this
spot,
was. I just wish that Sing and Sing 2 were just animals singing fun songs.
Yes.
Because when they try to make you care about their stories, it just falls apart for me.
you think too hard about it.
Yeah.
Especially in a world where all the animals characters live together, and you're like, wait, but you're
Why?
a meat eater. What are you eating and what along these other people?
Because I guess if you do tell that story,
It's
it
a
becomes
Zootopia,
Zootopia, and it's
Yep.
a different movie. So yeah, you're right. But whatever. Sing 2.
Also, a movie that came out on Christmas, and we couldn't watch it in time because
Ah.
you gave us 2 weeks to watch it.
Yeah.
American Underdog, the
Yeah.
Kurt Warner story.
Yeah.
How much Kurt Warner do you like? How much Levi do you
Very
like?
little, turns out.
So, American Underdog, as much as I wanted to be about Kurt Warner being on the Rams, that's literally only about maybe 15 minutes of this film.
Okay.
Because by the time he gets to the Rams,
Story's
it's
over.
one story's over because like we all know what happens after that. So the bulk of American Underdog is the thing that happens before he gets picked up by the Rams. Everything that happens from between when he's in college at Northern Iowa, I believe, like a D3 school, trying to get into the draft, and then coming to play arena football, and then being picked up from arena football.
Got it.
So it's Kurt Warner's story before he made it in the NFL. And that's what American Underdog is.
Is it interesting?
Do I care if I know where it's going to end?
Yeah, maybe not.
Is it interesting? I mean, it is more about like who he is as a person, and it does go into those Christian values.
Well, yeah, I know. This is a movie that you put out and you slap the fucking the dove seal of the what's the group?
But the Christian
family something. I forget what it's called, but yeah, it's that thing.
Yeah. I wanted there to be more football, not a whole lot of football. But that's just me. I came for football, and you gave me sob story of Kurt Warner, the sob story.
Yeah.
Is it? I mean, yeah, I'm glad I know more about this, but at the same time, because I know where it ended, do I really? I mean, I guess that's the story. Most of the story that you're supposed to get out of this is if you don't make it, do people really care about how you got there?
Mm-hmm.
So it's good in that aspect, but that's not all it's good for. Is saying that you can push yourself, you can try hard, and as long as you believe in yourself, you can make it to your goals. But you gotta want it. I can't want it for you. Clearly, no one in this film wanted it for him either, because they keep telling him time and time again, you should just like quit and try something else. No one wants it for him except for Kurt Warner. He wanted it.
Yeah.
And as long as you can believe in yourself
and God,
then you can become the great American underdog.
Well, good for him, I guess.
It worked out for Kurt Warner. Why can't it work out for you?
Not God. No, not enough God.
Not enough God.
All right, let's move on.
Not enough getting down on your knees and praying.
Guess so. All
right. I think that's all that came out last year. So let's get this movie that came out this year.
Yeah, that's what this podcast is for.
Yeah, recent stuff.
Yeah.
Like The Lost City with Sandra Bullock and...
Semi-recent.
Oh, wait, one last film that did come out last year.
Yes.
I didn't really watch it, but I saw enough people on the plane watch it, and that is The House of Gucci.
Okay.
And I will say that is definitely a plane movie because it's long enough for your entire plane ride, and you literally can't go anywhere to see anything else.
That's funny.
Even when there's sex scenes involved and people shooting people, and you're like, I see plenty of people do this exact same scene. You look around and like, anyone else watching my screen here? But yeah, if you really wanted to watch The House of Gucci, it's definitely a plane movie because what else are you gonna do on a plane besides
Yeah.
And it's long enough to distract you from the fact that you're on a plane.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's engaging enough.
Yeah.
But
But we'll
literally,
see.
6 other people around me were like watching the House of Gucci. I'm like, you really want to watch the House of Gucci? I know it's a 5-hour flight, and the movie's like 3 hours. So I guess that's at least when you know you're done. You're at least halfway there.
Yeah. You do
So,
you.
You do you.
But anyways, yes, The Lost City.
Anyways, yeah, The Lost City.
Sandra Bullock,
Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum,
Channing Tatum.
and Brad Pitt
Sure.
in here as well. This thing has stuff in it that's actually good.
That's one way to phrase it.
Like, there's enough stuff in here to like have good chemistry, good romance story. But at the end of the day, it doesn't want the two lead characters to be romantically involved.
Sure.
It does enough to say they're just co-workers. Like, she's the novelist and he's the cover model. He's trying to prove that he's more than just a pretty face on the book. She's trying to prove that her love for her dead husband expanded more than just her love of writing these romance novel books, that it was actually based off a real treasure that her late husband was trying to unravel. And it's kind of like her swan song, her last book. Until Daniel Radcliffe comes along and says, this book is real. I need you to actually come and solve this actual mystery for me. And that's how they get up into this Lost City kind of narrative, because he essentially kidnaps her, Sandra Bullock, and Channing Tatum just decides, you know what? I want to go rescue her, because I'm more than just everyone saying I'm cover model muscle meat.
Right.
And yet, hilarity ensues as they try and as Channing Tatum tries to rescue her, but Sandra Bullock wants to solve the actual mystery of the Lost City. It does a cheesy thing. Spoilers, that love was the journey we made along the way. The true love was in us all. The true treasure was the love we made along the way between each other. It tries to do that, and it really tries to make you care about these characters, and it really tries to make you care about this like ancient city lost love story. But at the end of the day, I really didn't care. There's a lot of good elements in here that I really liked, that maybe with a better chemistry could have worked, but not here with Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock.
Oh well.
Good effort. I see why they signed on for the script. It's a good script, but the chemistry between your two main characters needs to be actual chemistry and compatible, and not just Hollywood names because we need to sell tickets here.
Right. Well. Well.
Oh well.
Next up.
Oh, speaking of things that came out last year, I forgot. I finally watched No Time to Die.
Yeah.
James Bond.
That is up on
Amazon.
Amazon now.
Yep. Yeah, I forgot that I watched this, and because I should have seen this in theaters. I think it deserved to be seen in theaters. Because watching it on a plane didn't feel like it did justice.
Yeah. That's not a plane movie.
It's not a plane movie, but this is where I was able to watch it and had time to watch it. Because if you recall, this is what I was supposed to see in theaters. I was going to see in theaters. I had planned to see it in theaters. And then I was supposed to see it with my doctor. And my doctor never got around to watching it with me. Heartfelt thing going on here. But yeah, No Time to Die. No time to see it on a plane. That's definitely should have been a thing I was watching movie theaters. I should have watched in the comfort of my own home, not strapped watching to a tiny screen.
Big bombastic Bond movie. You want that 5.1 blaring.
Yeah. You also want something that makes it more memorable, more comfortable experience.
Sure.
It is longer. It is the finale of James Bond.
For Daniel Craig.
For Daniel Craig. It does give it the big finality of it. It's a good send-off. I think overall, as a whole, it's going to be remembered as a really good James Bond.
All right.
Even though, like, overall, you do have, like, Quantum of Solace and kind of Spectre squeezed into there.
I was going to say, how does this compare to Casino Royale, which is, of course, the quintessential Craig Bond?
Better than Casino Royale, not as good as Skyfall.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen Skyfall.
Oh, that's why.
Okay.
Yeah, Skyfall's better.
All right. I like
but
Casino Royale.
I don't think you can get as high as Skyfall.
Sure.
But it does its best, and I think it does do a good justice of ending that whole Daniel Craig James Bond saga.
Oh, very cool. I might check that out. We'll see.
Yep. And elsewhere also came out earlier this year, Uncharted with Tom Holland.
Yes, based on the video game series.
Based on the video game series. Now this is a lot of issues. If you thought Lost City, I had problems with Lost City.
Yeah.
Oh boy, Uncharted is just a bunch of wazoo up the wazoo, being very Goonies inspired.
Sure.
Even though it's inspired off the video game.
Right. But
so
even the video game Uncharted was a pastiche of all sorts of influences.
Yes.
Indiana Jones and stuff like that. So this, of course, feels like a puzzle piece, like a bunch of puzzle pieces put together.
But here's the biggest puzzle piece.
Uh-huh.
Your MacGuffin is split up into two MacGuffins that only works when they're both combined together.
Okay.
Because it's a separation in order to hide the treasure. But when you bring them both together,
Sure.
not only do they unlock the one puzzle piece that you have here, but they also need to be used separately, tangentially, on a separate puzzle piece. So it begs the question, which came first? The puzzle, the key, or the map to make it all work together?
Yeah, I don't know. They're all made at the same time.
They can't all do it at the same time because they all take place at different points across the globe.
Well, then I don't know. I'm no archaeologist.
And neither is Tom Holland in Uncharted.
No. He's here to shoot people. If I know anything about Uncharted.
He barely shoots people. Like
It's not an Uncharted movie then.
It's not really an Uncharted movie because he does more like parkouring and running around and like hand-to-hand combat than actual gun fights.
Okay. Is the action all right?
The action set pieces are fine.
Okay.
Like it makes you. I like the action set pieces. It's everything in between that basically forces the characters that we need you to get to here, so we're gonna force you to get to here, even in like the most random possible way. It's like someone took the best like cinematic moments of Uncharted and then had to scribble a line that says how they're connected. It doesn't work as a whole kind of film. And I don't even know if I want to see a sequel to this.
No.
It's pretty bad.
Huh. Okay.
I had hopes for this movie.
I heard some mixed things. It seems like, it depends on what you're coming in for it. Like, it seems like those who just completely just ignore the story seem to be having fun with it.
Like I said, it's fun for like the set pieces.
Sure.
Because that's where all the money looks like it's poured into, the set pieces.
That's what that.
But when you're trying to connect your set pieces, that's when it falls apart because you're basically duct taping this thing together.
So how do you think how do you think that the effect of this movie on you has prepared you for future Sony video game adaptations? Because we just had that story a couple weeks ago about they're doing several more.
I know.
This is not stopping anytime soon.
This is not a good foreboding of what Sony could do.
Yeah, I guess not. Oh, well. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
But I'm not too excited about Sony stuff so far.
Yeah.
Maybe they should just stick to video games and TV production.
All right. What else?
All right. So now let's go to Netflix stuff.
Okay.
Because I also watched some Netflix stuff.
Yes.
Movie I was going to talk about a lot later, but now it's kind of out of the cultural zeitgeist. Senior Year.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rebel Wilson.
Yeah, this.
So I have a problem with the Senior Year and how she gets into the coma because something like this actually happened at my school. And did not paralyze the person, did not put him in the coma, it actually killed the person.
Yikes. Not good.
So, Senior Year starts off as Rebel Wilson's character is a cheerleader for the pep rally before prom, before she could be prom queen and basically fulfill her destiny of being prom queen in high school in 2002. She is sent into a coma from a cheerleading accident, falling and hitting her head and going into a coma for 20 years.
Oh, okay.
Waking up in 2022.
Aha.
So from here, it transitions to her going back to high school because
it's a back to school situation.
I'm going back to school
Yes.
because I never graduated high school.
Right.
And I woke up like right when I left off.
Yeah.
Basically, when I wanted to come, I had a month of school left. Hey, there's a month of school left
Still
now.
do, yeah.
Let me go back to school as a like 37-year-old now.
Yeah.
Even though like everyone around me is 17.
Right.
So I and try and be the cool popular person. Although here's the caveat:
Everything's changed.
everything's changed because high school in 2022 is
Very
not what is
different.
different. What was it? 2002.
Yep.
Having lived experiences through it, things have changed. But yeah, okay, so the crux of this film is that everyone that I went to high school with never got out of the high school mode.
Sure.
My best friend, John Wilson's best friend, never left high school because she's now the principal.
Oh, jeez.
My other best friend never left high school because he's now the librarian. The person I was chasing after never really left high school because they ended up dating and marrying my rival from high school, my cheerleading rival from high school.
Oh,
And now their kid is going to the exact same high school
sure.
and is also a senior in high school.
Uh-huh.
Which, if you map that timeline out,
Yeah.
means that they got married and had
Yep.
the kid roughly 5 years after.
Uh-huh.
But
Timeline checks
timeline checks out. But the jock still has feelings for Rebel Wilson's character,
Uh-huh.
even though he's clearly married and has a
Oh,
kid
no.
with the rival character.
Right. Uh-oh.
But it's okay because she's just been in a coma. So for her, like she's still pining over him because that's all she knows. He is still pining over her because he's the love that never happened because she was in a coma for 20 years and never went to go visit her.
Mhm.
And therefore, you should think that he doesn't have any more feelings for her because he is married and has a kid with someone else.
Oh, well.
But this is all like high school drama and built up because it is high school drama for the sake of high school drama. And even like the adults in the room, huge quotes around there,
Right.
still act like they're in high school.
Yeah.
After Party did this better.
Sure. Yes. But coming from a different approach.
Different for a different approach. But
Yeah.
when you're still doing the I want to relive my high school days,
Right thing.
like
It's hard not to
it's hard not to compare.
Sure.
Senior year is terrible. Stop saying it was good.
All right.
I'm not getting into the whole controversy about how Kelly Clarkson's hit-winning song is in this when it shouldn't have been recorded before. That's a whole separate issue.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because she won American Idol with her song, but
Mhm.
she won it at the end of 2002, and they're playing it if prom is at the beginning of 2002. It should have
Whatever.
happened.
It's fine.
It's
Who
whatever.
cares?
Anyway, I didn't like senior year, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to watch it, turns out.
But what I did watch, Jackass 4.5.
Yeah, in the time-honored tradition of them putting out
0.5 behind the scenes.
extra footage from the previous theatrical release. And this
Yep.
is what this is?
That's exactly what this is because there's a lot of interviews and it goes into the behind the scenes stuff of, well, we shot this. We might as well put it on here because we have extra footage of it. But there's also behind the scenes of, here's how we chose and decided who else to become part of the new Jackass crew. Here's all the extra footage that we saw of us pranking them. Here's the stuff that was too raunchy and didn't make the cut for the actual theatrical footage. And then it's combined with the sit-down interviews of the Jackass crew explaining like how they actually got Jackass made. Like, oh, we just wanted to do one-off thing real quick, just see if we could do it. I had an itch to do it, and before we knew it, we were shooting the whole thing. And then the pandemic happened, so we had to work around that.
Right.
So it's a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff that I like to enjoy.
Sure.
You may not like to enjoy it. You may just want to see these people being jackasses, pun intended, literally, and doing all these pranks with each other. But if you like behind-the-scenes stuff, and I know I like my behind-the-scenes stuff, Jackass 4.5 is for you. It's available on Netflix.
All right, there you go. All right, two more.
Whoa, I'm almost done here.
Yeah, cooking.
Keep going here. It's like a half hour of just me rambling about thoughts here.
We knew that was going to happen.
We knew that was going to be the case. As such, I'm going to hustle through this next one. And that's Adam Sandler's new film on Netflix called Hustle.
Yeah.
Or you could watch Jerry Maguire.
Oh, is it just that?
It's Jerry Maguire, but for basketball.
Oh, okay.
It's The Golden Arm, but for basketball. It's Adam Sandler's character is a on the road scout for the European League, and he's works for the 76ers NBA team, where it's his job to be on the road scouting these alternative NBA leagues in the in Europe to find and draft the next players to be a part of the 76ers. It's his job. He's a scout. Until he gets the job opportunity to become the assistant head coach, thanks to the general manager, or thanks to the owner, who's seen all the hard work he's put in. And then the owner dies.
Oops.
And the new owner and the owner's son takes over. Doesn't really like Adam Sandler's character, so he demotes him.
Oh.
And yet you could have seen this coming a mile away, because this is basically Rocky.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, this is Rocky 3. Not Rocky 1 or Rocky 2.
Sure.
This is specifically Rocky 3 because there are so many goddamn montages in this thing. So Adam Sandler's character finds the unknown unicorn basketball player in Spain and wants to bring him over, but can't really get interviews because the new owner doesn't like him. So he's gonna manage this guy and train him to play and be better, be the best person he can be, so he can be drafted by the NBA. And that's what it is. It's Rocky meets Jerry Maguire meets Golden Arm, where Adam Sandler's character is trying to get a new kid a shot in the NBA draft, but also he's being pushed around and gets cut by the team, so you have drama in there. It's very formulaic. I think there's a reason they said it in Philadelphia, so you can get that kind of Rocky sense to it. And like I said, there's like 2 separate montages that are about 15 minutes each that accumulate for a third of this runtime.
Oh, wow.
If you like your montages,
then here you
and
go.
you like your basketball, there's a lot of good basketball stuff in here, especially like different players and winks and nods and stuff.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, it's Rocky-esque with Adam Sandler in it.
All right. It could be potentially interesting, depending on what you're in for.
In terms of like sports movies, it's a lot better than say like American Underdog, because you actually get more sports in it.
Yeah.
So if you're going for a sports movie and you want sports in it, see Hustle.
Yeah. If you wanted more basketball and winning time.
Yes.
Here you go.
Anyways, that's on Netflix. Okay. I'm going to go through 5 minutes here.
All right.
On Top Gun, Maverick.
I have heard a lot about this movie. I have heard all sorts of
good and
things. Mostly good. I feel like a lot of people enjoy this thing. So, how was it?
It was good.
Okay.
It was really good.
All right.
It was so good, we tried to look up times to see it again.
Wow. Okay.
This thing deserves to be seen in the theaters. If I missed out on No Time to Die in the theaters because it was good, it should be seen on a big screen. Top Gun Maverick does that.
Wow.
It deserves to be seen on a big screen. The fighter jets, the loud, the action, the roaring. It starts off with Danger Zone and flying off.
It knows why you're
it
here.
knows why you're here. So it gives it to you in the first 10 minutes of the opening credits saying, we know why you're here. You want fighter pilots. You want the Danger Zone. We're giving it to you right here, right now.
Yeah.
And then it transitions right into Top Gun, right into the Maverick character of Tom Cruise. And it becomes Tom Cruise's movie. And Tom Cruise gets pulled right back in. He's got to train these new set of Top Gun, top of their class elite recruits on a super dangerous mission of a speed run that only Tom Cruise can perform because he's a maverick. Yes. He lives life on the edge. He goes way past the regulated cautions put in place for not just the aircraft, but also for the airspeed, but also for how high you're supposed to be off the ground. All these regulations are put in place. We need Maverick to teach all these kids to essentially throw out the rule books and become Mavericks, because that's the only way they're going to make it in and out of this mission alive.
Because he has the need. The need for speed.
for ridiculously stupid ass stunts.
Yes, it's true.
The need to put your life on the line
Yeah.
to complete the mission and come home.
Yeah.
And come home.
Yes.
Because that is this point that Tom Cruise drives into John Hamm's character, which, by the way, John Hamm, just do military roles for the rest of your life. Screw everything else. Just do military roles. You're just basically built for it at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tom Cruise that's why they brought Tom Cruise in, because the goal is to complete the mission and come home safely. And Tom Cruise is just crazy enough to do it, to teach these kids how to be crazy enough to do it,
Right.
so that you can come home.
All right.
And I really love this movie.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things.
This is nothing but good things.
Yeah.
If you like Top Gun, you're going to love Top Gun Maverick. Now, the big question is, did this film need to come out 35 years later? Because, yeah, first one came out, 86? So, yeah, this is like 35 years later. The answer is no. Actually, couldn't come out 10 years ago. It could have come out probably 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Because the way it's based off of we need these recruits to do the mission has nothing to do with now, like 2021.
Yeah.
Like, it could have come out 10 years ago, because that's when drone pilots and drones were basically coming into common knowledge that the military owns all of this stuff, and that we no longer need fighter pilots to do everything, because we just send drones, unmanned drones, and they can do it without risking the pilot's life. We're just risking military dollars. But that's why you need Top Gun Maverick, because there's stuff that a pilot can do that you can't teach a drone. They can't just fly. You got to have a pilot in the seat. It's not about the plane. It's about the pilot.
Going into an accent there.
Oh, Tom Cruise is going deep into the accent there. Oh, same with Miles Teller, because he's also in this thing.
Sure.
That may or may not be a caveat for this thing, because people know on this podcast, I have disdain for Miles Teller.
Fair enough.
Not just for his on-camera antics, but mainly for his off-camera antics.
Sure. Yes. So do you need to have seen the first one to enjoy this?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Because, spoiler, in case you couldn't realize it from based off the posters, Miles Teller is Goose's son.
Ah.
It does fill in a lot of gaps in between the years in terms of dialogue of like, oh, like he became a pilot. Why does he have a disdain for Maverick now? Like, shouldn't he like raise him as a son or not? That's like spoilers and stuff of like why they hate each other, but just going in that they hate each other.
Okay. Right.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
If you can't figure it out by the first 10 minutes of them interacting, and like clearly like you're paying attention to something else, because this film just sits you in the pilot seat. It says, hey, we're going to take you for a ride. There's a lot of fire jet stuff going on. Apparently they filmed like 800 hours of them just flying around, whizzing everywhere. It's great.
Whizzing
it's fun.
everywhere?
Yeah, whizzing past each other.
Doing in planes. Okay.
Yeah, in the planes.
Sorry.
Yes, different kind of whizzing. Whizzing and whirring and blurring. This is a fun film. This will be your dad's favorite film of the year.
Oh yeah, I mean this is the dad movie.
This is the dad movie of the year.
Yeah. Well, cool.
You can also see a lot of Tom Cruise's hands in producing all this.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to make this thing right, and god damn it, he made this thing right.
Well, cool. That's great news. I am excited to watch this once it hits streaming.
Oh, come
I
on!
don't think I'm gonna see it in the theater. I'm sorry.
Bob's
Burgers was already pushing it for us. I don't know if we're ready to do it again.
It's a fun movie. It's a movie. Like I said, you need the 12.1 surround sound. Just Dolby IMAX, throw it all in your face, rumbling everywhere.
Well, I'm halfway there with Dolby Atmos at home. So
there's a shot in this film where you're sitting behind the fighter jet engine, and then it goes on. You see it go on, you hear it go on, and that sound just pushes you back in your seat. Man. And I'm like, yes, this is what I'm here for.
You gotta see that in D-Box.
Yes.
You go find a D-Box theater. Do they still exist? Probably.
Right? All right. I went over time.
Yeah,
but
fine.
That's okay.
We ended on a killer note to end the podcast.
Top Gun Maverick.
I'm glad Top Gun Maverick gets the Media Boat Podcast seal of approval.
Seal of approval. Go see it in theaters. It is that good. Also, Lady Gaga, love your song in this thing. That motif just plays throughout everything. Love it. Love it. Love it. There's a lot of good stuff to say about it.
Did it. Take your breath away. Anyway.
No.
All right, let's
The
move-
song's Hold Your Hand.
Yes. Yeah, I know.
Hold my hand.
I know that was a
Yes.
joke. All right. Well, that's it then for movies, and that will do it then for the Media Boat podcast this week. Thank you so much for joining us on this long, thoughts-filled episode. We will be back next week for hopefully a shorter, less thoughts-filled episode of the Media Boat podcast, where we will catch you up on all of the news and thoughts in the week that happened. We'll be back live for you on Saturday, so stay tuned. If you want to tune into that, you can go see our video podcast on YouTube. Search YouTube Media Boat Podcast and you'll find us. If you want to listen to a more traditional audio version of the podcast, you can do that as well on audio podcast services such as Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, you can search Media Boat Podcast and find us, as well as our archive of all the episodes we've done in the past. You can also find us on social media channels like Twitter, where our handle is @MediaBoatCast, Facebook, where you can search Media Boat Podcast and find our page. And if you want to email us questions, comments, feedback about the show, you want to hear your question read out loud, whatever your intent is, you can email us at mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com. That will do it. Thank you for joining us. Have a great week, and we will be back right here next week.
Yep. Next week with a lot less thoughts, but
More
a
video
lot more
games, probably.
news.
Yeah. All right. Look forward to it. Bye.
All right. Bye. Oh, so much thoughts.
So much stuff.
21 thoughts salute.
21 thoughts. Salute.